Hello, everyone. I am Chris Falco from Falconian Productions, and I am here storytelling for.
Andrew, I play Mason, an upstanding member of the Pentex first team, and Dawncast Solar.
Peter asked Dolores Star, the Heart Eater.
And Nick playing as Henry Temple of the Infernal Exalted.
All right. Just to cover this ahead of time, as you probably heard, Nick is a little sounding like he's on the phone today. That's because, his work schedule got messed up. This shouldn't be a long-term problem. Sorry about that ahead of time. All right.
Sounds like he's on the phone because he is on the phone.
Exactly. It's a very simple explanation. So last time you all talked to a lot of mages, basically, as you got ready to take over the local Magadon office. As we came off of it last time, I believe the plan was to A, find a way to make a bunch of money, and B, gather up everyone in the local Magadon branch to have a company-wide meeting and basically take over as many people with mind spiders and such as you can.
Sounds about right.
All right. Now, that being said, according to the calendar, it is Friday, so you get a weekend to yourselves before you have to try taking people over. So, is there anything you all want to do over the weekend?
So, I know there's no real mechanic for this, but probably perform sorceress initiation is on our list.
Oh, right, yeah. So, also last time, the group basically got a set of scrolls or tattered books or something that contained remnants of magic from the First Age that the Society of Ether member that they were talking to, Ralph, um, realized that, hey, maybe they can do something with this since it doesn't seem to be compatible with our Meiji magic. Obviously not what an Etherite would say, but you know what I mean. Um, so, yeah, you all managed to learn a ancient sorcery spell each before the scrolls crumbled or the words faded or some other mysterious thing happened. So why don't you tell everyone what you learned?
Mason learned Claws of the Wood Dragon, because of course he did.
Mm-hmm.
Let's see, Dolores, I think, learned Flight of the Brilliant Raptor.
Right. Big exploding bird.
Yeah, he do have
And I
some
believe
offense.
Henry learned. Oh, sorry.
Go on.
I was just going to say Henry learned the Emerald Spirit Binding.
Right,
Speaking of
right.
spirits now.
Yep. Um, all right. Well, so yeah, obviously that's probably what occupies your Friday night since, the materials would have been delivered to all of you by then. So is there anything else any of you want to do over the weekend?
I do need to spend some time looking after my kid brother. That's a
Yes,
thing that reminds us that we're actually people and not just crazy monsters.
that's true. Yeah. So, what do you want to do to entertain your kid brother?
Gosh, I mean, he's just started lessons at the Kung Fu Academy. He probably needs some uh I don't know. I assume he's terrible, right? Just like everyone else who starts out is. So he's
Probably.
probably yeah. So it's like, okay, let's crap. What do kids want? And like Mason just seemed totally at it. So like, no, ice cream's too old for that. I mean, you're never too old for ice cream, but
Right.
so
But
probably playing, yeah,
yeah.
probably playing video games with him is what it eventually comes down to.
Gotcha. So a trip to the dojo and some video games. All right. So, why don't I roll some things for some reasons? Why don't you roll me some sort of be subtle and not announce to the world that I have a weakness in the form of a younger brother roll?
Sure. What would that even be?
I don't know. I was kind of leaving it to you.
Okay.
Wits
Charisma
plus
stealth or something?
subterfuge.
Subterfuge,
Yeah.
probably. It's probably going to be subterfuge because
Yeah.
I mean, as what kind of what would oppose perception.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and so wits is that up. 4. Okay. Five dice, DC 6. And I get 2 successes.
All right. Compared to something that's happening. We'll take a note of that because, you know, it might be something.
Yeah. Somebody's getting kidnapped. Or possibly
It'll
just
be
like
fridged.
a really good job offer, one or the other, you know.
Oh god, that would be even worse for you.
I
How
mean,
would
these days kids can work.
right, you know. I mean, the Pentex is probably lobbying for the, you know, lower requirements to have underage people working in Nevada.
Well, you know, or even just like an offer for a really good boarding school. What a scholarship. You can't turn this down.
Oh god. Are there boarding schools in Vegas?
There's boarding school. If not, there's
Gotta be.
elsewhere.
I mean, yeah, there.
Yes,
There's
the
gotta
answer
be
is
at least in
probably.
Nevada.
I mean, yeah. If nothing else, we can always say that there are. All right. Cool. Actually, let me roll a different thing too for a completely unrelated reason.
Ominous GM rolls.
Yes. Make you all wonder about things. All right. You notice that your brother is feeling really good about the dojo. Like, you know, he felt really good about the lessons today, even though he was probably kind of like meh about it at first, like it was something to do. But no, he's really into it and is almost sad when the lesson's over for the day.
Okay.
Punch more people.
I mean, I can give him extra lessons instead of playing video games. That's fine.
Yeah, he's all over that.
I mean,
He is all over that.
yeah.
Somebody's gonna be sore in the morning.
All right.
Yeah, I don't have like solar medicine to fix that, so.
You know, just don't roll your excellencies on him, and you know he'll probably be okay. Unless you really need to show off. Like if he gets
No.
too cocky, you roll it then. But
I don't think I would need to.
right.
Oh,
I mean, yeah. What is he like? 15? Was it?
Right. He's
all
not.
fair.
Yeah, I have that on
Yeah.
your sheet somewhere. So yeah, he's still got a little bit of growing and such to do.
Yep.
Before he's really going to be able to stand up to you. All right. Dolores, is there anything you want to do over the weekend?
Well, I remember we were planning on getting everybody's information from our local Megadon office. So I'm thinking
Mhm.
about just, since I basically live in this office now, since I can rearrange it to whatever, then, over the weekend, just, going through all the personal files by messing with the office, moving all the files to my private layer somewhere when nobody's looking,
Mhm.
going through everything one by one and so on and
I
so
mean,
on.
you bought the charm so that even spirit aside, the lair itself is alive now for you, right?
Oh, yeah, that too.
I mean, yeah, the lair can basically just tell you the passwords if you want to go into someone's office over the weekend who isn't there. But yeah,
Smear some blood on the doors, make them open themselves up or something. And, all the
right.
fun stuff.
You get so
All
many
right.
paper cuts. You should really like wear, little finger protectors.
Yeah. All right. Is there anything specific you're looking for, or you just
Um,
you just want to set it up that you know if you can make rolls to remember stuff about any individuals you deal with?
I mean, probably the most pressing stuff we have was looking at the special project division.
Yes. All right. In that case, give me an actual research roll of some sort. I suppose that's
Perception investigation.
yeah, sure. I'll let you use perception.
Okay, so that's 15 dice at lower difficulty because perception.
Yep.
And exalted rolls. Yeah.
Look at all them
Uh,
dices.
That's 14
Only
successes.
14 successes out of 15 dice. Come on now. Do you have a specialty too?
What did I have a specialty? Let me double check. Corporate. So yes.
Yeah, so that's not 14, it's 15, 16, 17, 18 successes.
He just
very-
reads every document in the building.
Yeah, all right. Well, I mean, that being the case, Magdon is kept separate from the main Pentex. However, with that many successes, you're able to catch the little someone signing with SPD, is appended to their name when they really shouldn't because they're so excited they just got promoted there, or something mentioning SPD in offhand, or something being redacted, but you're able to get the non-redacted version because it's kept somewhere in there, and so on and so forth. So SPD is, as best you can tell, or in the context of Magadon, is essentially technological research. It's how they get into some of their most advanced bioengineering and even bits of cybernetics that they're looking into here and there. Not something you usually expect from a medical research place, but it's the kind of thing. It's wave of the future. It's distant kind of things that they're prototyping, that sort of deal. You haven't seen much of that actually in use. It's largely theoretical in this office, but there are talks of that, and there are, you can put two and two together with that many successes and, connect things that you wouldn't think are connected if people just read those two things on separate days, that sort of deal. So, SPD, or Special Projects Division, is more or less future tech. It's way in the future. This is the kind of stuff that, down the line, once our research is completed, this is gonna change society, that kind of stuff.
Google calls those moonshots, or used to when they were still doing them.
Right. And of course, because of what you already know about Magadon, there is a lot of worm tech involved in all of that. Taint and whatnot. So none of it's good, of course. Sorry, what was that, Peter?
I would love this information.
Oh, right. That is probably true. All right.
I guess I'm spending a whole weekend on that.
Okay. Are you going to share that information with Denise Mitchell, the one who asked you to look into SPD stuff?
I think we want to do that together. Not
Okay.
necessarily just do it.
So not yet.
Probably after the meeting and so on, when everybody regroups, we can look into that.
All right. All right. Okay. Sorry about that. All right. Well, that leaves us with Nick and Henry.
Hey. I think Henry would, after finding out that he's also a wizard, would probably try to get in touch with the Wizard of Hoover Dam. The reason for this is he does not have family. He doesn't have friends. This like Dolores and Mason are about the closest thing he's had in years. So he doesn't know what the fuck to do with himself on the weekends. And instead of just playing video games and smoking weed, he figures, our clock is ticking in his head towards the end of the world, and it's making him anxious. So he's going to reach out to that wizard just to kind of pick their brain about things.
Alrighty. So yeah, you can get a hold of him. He tends to work weekends too. He's kind of like one of those sleep at the office types, except it's not an office, it's a dam, but yeah. Not to say he never leaves there. People force him to take breaks now and then, but he's very focused. But yeah, you can go visit him there. So what kind of stuff do you want to pick his brain about?
I kind of want to talk shop with him about a little bit more about his work, how differences in magic between these different traditions, trying to explain like that he learned the spell. It doesn't, or he thinks is a spell, but like, he has a hard time kind of conceptualizing that is a real thing inside his real world. And so he's trying to kind of bridge the gap with a guy who seems to use that magic in a way that looks like machines, even if they're really strange machines.
Mm-hmm.
And trying to see if there's connections there. Obviously, they're not the same thing, but like kind of talking shop with him. And it doesn't really matter that much kind of how he responds to that. He's mostly just kind of spending time getting to know him a bit. And at the end of it, maybe asking about like, hey, do you think we could work on a project together? I mentioned that before. Is that still something you're into? Is that even possible? That sort of thing.
Okie doke. So he is able to give you, he's not a huge magical theory type of person. He's got basic knowledge of all that. So what he can tell you is that, mages, and including techno mages, sort of recognize that the universe is made up of these spheres of influence, that represent, just major parts of how the universe works. That most of his tradition focus on matter, which is, obviously building, but it's what it sounds like. There's no hidden meaning with them. But obviously they do have a more in-depth understanding of matter than most do. They realize that the declaration that ether doesn't exist, it wasn't actually a completely true thing, that it was just a new understanding was figured out by the Etherites, and the technocracy didn't like that. And there is like a little whole spiel about that he gives you that you really don't have the foundation to completely follow yet, but you could probably spew it back up in the future if it came up. But
Gotcha.
yeah, and he mentions that, a lot of modern technomancers are from the Order of Reason before it completely corrupted itself, and the technocracy is a bunch of techno-fascists that are trying to squash magic, and that includes your type and all that kind of stuff. You get the basic outline of tradition and technocracy and of the 9 spheres, and so if you have the same kind of knowledge of someone who got the elevator pitch of Mage the Ascension, and then, as you continue on and talk about working on a project together, and he does kind of peek up, and he does sound pretty interested in the concept of seeing if, your type of Magitech and his type of Magitech could work together one way or another. Is there any sort of thing you suggest as a basis for that kind of project?
Yeah. So Henry has a hard time kind of articulating it, just because he has a hard time kind of understanding why he can do the things he can a bit. But he'll kind of he'll stumble over his words and then kind of go on attack of like, well, it's funny. It's just a thought I've been having for a bit. It seems I don't know, it seems grandiose, but like, oh shoot. He says, I've been thinking, I'm not sure how feasible it is. It's kind of really big picture, but just I want to look into destroying entropy. Just
He
a
kind
whole
of
concept.
like gives you a weird look, like entropy, like the entire concept of things deteriorating and being recycled back into the universe, or some specific aspect of that.
Um, the part where things always get worse and there's no way to go back, ever.
So
That
more
part.
like the corruption of entropy.
Kind of like stares blankly. What do you? I guess. Is there a good entropy that I'm missing here?
So yeah, he understands like the fundamentals of entropy. So he kind of like takes a moment, like trying to think of how to explain it to a layman. You know, even if you're not a layman in the greater sense, you are for the sake of entropy. Clearly, he starts to explain to you that essentially there is a mathematical inevitability of the wider concept of entropy. Like the universe can't exist if certain things don't break back down and recycle into the universe. That's not something that can really be stopped. But however, you know, around Earth especially, there are a lot of corrupted beings who seem to take on what they call resonance of entropy, and that kind of corrupted entropic resonance is not the same as how entropy is supposed to work. Um, and you know, it might be possible to clear away that corruption, so terribleness as a concept that surrounds those beings or those phenomena and so on wouldn't be so so bad. You know.
Mhm. Okay. So Henry will kind of like hold up his hand, like, okay, slow down, slow down. So, all right, I understand there's the big picture, and it goes a little bit beyond like the what's in the textbooks regarding the death of the universe and all that. Okay, sure. But like, do you count regular, run of the mill, not corrupted entropy as including things like death?
He kind of like does like a hand weighing motion, like, well, yes and no. You know, I personally don't believe, you know, people in particular have to die for the universe to work. There are ways around that, and there are ways to stop that kind of degradation of living things. That's not his specific area of expertise, but you know, he knows some that have learned basic ways around that. Um, Obviously, if everything in the world just continued to live and never died, it would break up the ecosystem, and eventually um, you'd either end up with stasis and everything just kind of being as it is always, or you'd end up with things dying in different ways than natural deaths, or, you know, it depends on exactly how you're going about this. Some things need to die, some things need to end, or you have to try and redo the universe. But he doesn't,
Redo the universe.
yes. He doesn't believe that you there's some background damn noise. Um
Oh.
yeah. He doesn't believe that, you know, if you give like yourself immortality, that it's going to ruin the world, or even, you know, make sure all good people don't die, so long as the ecosystem at large is made to be able to survive properly.
Okay.
But you know, on the small scale, you probably won't break anything, but of course the technocracy probably wouldn't be happy about it.
Okay. Right. No, I see. I hear that, and I hear those concerns. But Henry just kind of shakes his head. I'm not sure that's true. I'm not sure that just because that's an obstacle means it can't be done. Like, okay. Imagine the universe is code, right? It's programmed and set up a particular way, and you will get errors if you just, futz about with it willy-nilly.
Right.
It's going to stop working eventually. You might hit a critical error, right? Okay, sure. But what if you design it differently from the ground up?
Well,
What if,
that's what I'm saying. That's what you would have to do.
Okay. All right. Okay.
Do you...
New universe.
He kind of looks at you very warily for a moment. Like, are you suggesting that you have the ability to redo the universe?
Oh, I mean, not yet.
Ah, I was thinking, oh, have you heard of
I.
the
Oh, sorry, go ahead.
like have you heard of the Wheel of the Ages? I'm the hub of it. Turn, turn, turn.
Yeah, Henry's just kind of staring off in the distance now, like he's thinking he's going off on his own kind of trail. And then he kind of like blinks and goes, "Oh, I'm sorry, we were talking about like projects. Yeah, no, I'm not suggesting we build a machine to restart the universe yet. Um, but maybe we could start small. You were talking about like the corruption of entropy, right? Do you think we could work on something that changes that?
Well, that would be beyond my personal current capabilities, but I believe I could help you if you think you can affect some of those fundamental forces. Like, I think we would need to take a bit more time comparing notes about our capabilities before we work on that.
Okay, sure, yeah. I mean, even if it's not your expertise, I'd appreciate if you could help me source parts without me having to, go on the internet, get tracked down by one of these, I guess, multiple world controlling conspiracies.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, you know, and I haven't even thought since the last time you helped us out. I mean, I haven't even done you like a favor yet. So, like, if there's something I could do for you. I don't know how long it takes you to build this shit. It can like take me an afternoon sometimes, or like a couple minutes.
Really? Well,
Yeah,
in that case, I promise this isn't me being a smartass. Feel free to say, this is beyond, what you're offering, but he kind of walks over to one of his computers, and it doesn't do the cool Etherite things from last time. He really is just pulling up a file this time, and he shows you some blueprints for, a section of the dam. Like, we never got to upgrade some of the systems around here. If I sent you the blueprints and showed you where the parts are, do you think you could, upgrade it and make sure everything's working with our systems?
I look over like the technical notes, and I'm assuming it's within
It's
his
yeah,
capabilities, and
it's
having
it's
just
ultimately mundane. Yeah, you with your things could get it done over the weekend easily.
Henry nods his head and says, "Yeah, sure. Do you have the stuff to do it now? You have the equipment
Um,
and all that?"
yeah, and he gets a more typical map and sends that to you too, and it shows where different parts are, and then there's a place that's technically outside of the dam where you'll have to get some of the heavier stuff, but people can help you with that part at least, and so on. Um,
Yeah, I
but
know
yeah,
that looks totally doable. Even though I've never worked on a dam before, this will be an adventure. Do you mind if I stay the weekend? Do you have like
yeah,
a
of
extra bed
course.
here?
Oh yes, plenty of them. I There are a
Awesome.
bunch of them just in case, and he points out where those are in the map too.
Fantastic. All right, Henry, we'll work on that over the weekend. But also mostly use that also as an excuse to hang out with this guy who seems like really cool, and also Henry's like fucking just dying, starving for social interaction.
Oh
So
yeah.
he'll do
So
that.
I'm not going to even make you roll because automatic success rules would come into play here. It's really more of a time thing and just having the technical knowledge to be able to interpret all of this stuff. So yeah, and you can talk with him and discuss things, and essentially if you get to the point of crafting something where you might need a little mage juice to jumpstart more than your charms, your constructing charms would alone, we could talk about that. Um,
So
so
Yeah, that works for me.
Okay, and yeah, we can. I know you had plans here and there for some weird AI stuff and whatnot, and we can. You can pro.
Yeah, I totally forgot about that. I will have to build the eye next weekend or something.
Yeah. Well, I mean that's the thing. Do you have even any resources on your sheet? I think a lot of the like gadget and arcana stuff you need a ton of resources. So getting on his good
I think,
side
yeah,
is
I think Henry
yeah.
has
You
four.
do have decent resources, but
He's the rich one.
it would help to not pay all that. Yeah.
right.
And again, also, I don't want to be getting all this stuff off Amazon because then the technocracy and also Pentex will go, oh, look at all the stuff he's getting on Amazon.
Right. Look at this guy that
Just
obviously
let this
is
guy
on.
know.
Look at this guy who is
Yeah.
on all of our watch lists at this point, and connected with correspondence
Buying heavy
magic.
industrial machinery? What the fuck? Yeah,
I don't know.
no.
Right.
Maybe,
I don't want
maybe
to bother with that.
they'll take a day trip to China and like they have like marketplaces where they just sell stuff by the crate.
Right. The Etherites have, a lab where machines make more machines and they don't ever really need to get more than raw materials. And even some of them have a machine that'll convert, like, the air into new physical materials and stuff. So, it's a
Love
pretty.
mages. Mages are my new best friend.
Right. So, yeah. We will keep that in mind and actually let me write that in my notes. Okay. All right. Well, that will cover the weekend then.
So now we just have to go kill the vampire that got me up the Wheel of Reincarnation, Legacy of Kain style.
Right.
Solve entropy.
So let's see. Saturday, Sunday, Monday. All right. So that is all of your weekends. You come in nice and fresh on Monday morning, like the good workers you all are. And so I believe the idea was Henry was basically going to claim he had authority to call a meeting and use his cool stuff to send it to everyone's like private email boxes that only their bosses should be able to get to anyway.
Okay.
Roll well on your mind, Spider, as you enslave the office.
Right. I forget, did the Mind Spider actually cost anything, or is it just the roll each time?
Oh, it super does. It super costs something. Thank God we're in the Dragon's Nest.
Oh, okay, yeah, it does cost you
This
essence.
might take some time. This is might have to be like a multi-hour meeting or something.
Right. Well, I mean, for the initial, like, making sure everyone gets there, you only need to use your inherent, like, your infernal control devices thing that you can just reach out with. Just make sure you walk by all of the departments and make all their computers do what you need to.
Right. And that doesn't cost me.
Okay, yeah, that does not cost you anything, so... Well, that being the case, unless anyone has anything else they want to do while Henry is working on getting all of that set up, we can go into the meeting, I suppose.
I guess. Although, yeah, with the spy mind control thing, would that work as it's written, or do we, still need to figure out the term for long-term mind control?
Oh yeah, did you ever take the crown one for the really long-term stuff?
No, I did not. This is going to be like I can set them up with specific commands.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay, so if you basically tell all of them, to... I mean, yeah, if the meeting's just about tell me all of the shit that you're doing, you can definitely do that and then tell them to, I don't know, keep quiet for a day or two while you're figuring other shit out. That won't be a problem.
That's sweet.
Okay. Let's see. Did I create the image already for the office?
I assume that nothing amazing happened in the office when we walk in.
No.
As we check in, no news is good news.
Right. Exactly.
Do we have some office sounds?
And then we add another check
Oh, yeah,
to
let's switch to
it's been
office
so
sounds.
many days since a werewolf attack.
I swear this is missing one of my sound things for the office.
Yeah.
And the traffic is too close. There we go. Okay, so I'm gonna have to open up my assets folder and let everyone see all of that not actually ready stuff. Because I thought, oh, I did put it in the image thing. I just passed over it. Okay. Well, just so everyone has something to look at, there's a nice conference room for you all. So, you have a couple of nice big screens there you can make sure everyone's paying attention to. It's one of those bigger ones where instead of one long thing, it's a bunch of tables where everyone can gather and you can stand at the front or the side or over there and get everyone's attention well enough. So, why don't you tell me how you plan to get this meeting started, like what the email says and what you say the meeting's about, that kind of stuff?
The meeting is about synergy. We gotta synergize, guys. You don't understand. We're all different departments. We're all siloed away from each other. How are we gonna do our best work unless we're working together?
Oh god,
Synergy.
you're gonna make everyone hate you.
Jason's looking over your shoulder and he's like, "Just put in snacks will be provided."
Yes, thank you. Yes, snacks and drinks.
Yes.
Yes.
As Dolores smirks us.
Yeah,
I go to another
Dolores is
charm.
going to provide the snacks and drinks.
What'd you say, Peter?
Oh yeah, I was just saying. Oh yes, that will be provided. As Dolores just perhaps her hands together or something. As I put that charm for my lair.
The charm that makes everyone want to stay and be respectful of your hospitality after they've had something to eat.
Yeah, fortune
Oh
and
no.
prestige.
So
Oh
then,
shit! I totally
right.
forgot about that.
Yeah.
We'll use the company money to get like little bags of chips for $1 each or whatever.
Yeah, so you can, get some soft control over them at least in the meantime without
Yep.
the, yeah. That's still not like long-term servitude, but while they're in the lair, at least they generally listen to each individual command, similar to mind spiders.
But then again, they have to fail a willpower roll with difficulty 5.
I
6
mean,
with resistance too.
I'll probably roll for the main characters if you check for
Yeah.
them, but like the typical office drones and bottom rung
Yeah.
people, I'm gonna assume their willpower 2 is not enough to protect
Yeah.
them.
Yeah.
No one
So
wants
only
to
the people
roll
that
for...
matters won't be affected.
Right. Well, might not be affected. They'll get the roll at least. So yeah, that being the case, speaking of people that matter, the first team is of course asked to be present, which means that Jewel, Mason's boss, is there.
Yep.
They're kind of like over in the corner, not as much sitting as like acting like security. Like clearly that's the only reason they got the email, right? They're just supposed to be there and look around and whatnot. You've got the administrative wing, which has what did we call the HR lady that hates Dolores? Gladys, something like
That
that.
sounds right. Yeah, Gladys.
Yeah, she's of a pretty similar sort of build to Dolores, and she's there, and a few interns are there, and a couple of like the marketing head. Well, no, that'd be a different department. Not marketing. Financial departments there, and obviously Dolores heads the mailroom, and yeah, there's marketing and sales over in one corner. The marketing and sales department aren't much because that's not really what this Magadon Lab's about. They've got a couple people as they're more like PR than proper sales, I guess, here. So yeah, let's call them the PR department, and there's only a few of them, and none of them are particularly special. One of them might have the fascination sorcery path or some similar bullshit to help them spread bullshit, but nothing too potent. what else? Oh, obviously then there's the science division, of course, the people that are actually doing the research and development. And the head of their department is this guy, whom in your records, his name is Rowan. He is one of the Fomori, at least that's what the records say. The secret records you've gotten into, Henry, imply that he is. And then there's a bunch of other ones who are said to have, advanced scientific knowledge, hyperchemistry, sorcery paths to help them do even more than normal. Let's see, what else? Obviously, IT department, Henry is the head of people who are here. Obviously, the actual head is managed on the Pentex office that you've been to before, but he's not here. You haven't invited him here, I imagine.
Probably not.
Yeah. Who else is important? Oh, obviously the office spirit that awoken when the lair awoken is here. They again took the form of, a person. They look a little weird. They've, since the first time they were very standard, and they've just been kind of changing appearance every time you've seen them. That's what they look like right now. And they just kind of sit in the corner with, a notepad and a laptop out, ready to take notes and keep minutes of your meeting. So yeah, meeting away. You're leading this, Henry.
Hello, everyone. I am so glad you are all able to make it. Please, everyone get a snack and a drink. I hope you're all feeling great. I know no one likes meetings. Everyone's very busy, so I really appreciate your time. So I just had a few things to go over, and I start a PowerPoint. The PowerPoint could not be more generic in like how it's kind of set up. It's literally like synergy, teamwork, responsibility.
Like you took one of those
And
templates and didn't even change it.
oh yeah,
Or
exactly.
Dart.
There's a cat hanging from a branch.
Perfect. Yes. So he's going over that, just giving kind of like a usual spiel, and then he gets to a slide that basically says, "So how can we do this? How can we actualize working together?" And one of the first bullet points that comes up is communication. So everyone, communication. This is so important. Can you all speak a little bit to how important communication is? Maybe give some examples of how your departments work together.
All right. Do you? No one is going to volunteer until you call on someone to do their department first.
No problem. I will mind spider someone in space.
Sounds good. You...
I don't think I've been told who's in the special resource whatever departments.
They would be connected to the science department. The research and development. So, the science guy image I showed you.
Time to mind spider. Okay.
Go ahead.
So that is manipulation. So that will be 16 dice. If is my essence refilled? I'm assuming it was over the weekend, but I don't.
Yes, unless you spent more than you would regain in a day, I imagine you're fine.
Okay.
Also, the office is a dragon nest, so you can just hang out.
So took you an hour to get everyone ready and whatnot. So
that's why this is a multi-hour affair.
His willpower is 8.
Ooh. Okay. Is he a creature of darkness?
Yes.
Beautiful.
Demonic primacy of essence.
Oh yeah.
Does that help with Mind Spider Curse?
Yes. Oh yes. Any mental subordination, it helps.
Oh, okay. Well, go for it then.
I believe that is 7 successes.
Okay. So, what does the screen try to tell him to do?
The screen tells him to, of course, talk about his work with the SPD division. Very
Oh.
openly.
Oh wow.
Okie dokie.
Hey, this is just a team build. Everyone needs to be, informed. That's all. No big deal.
Okay. So, roll me an empathy before he starts talking.
Uh-oh.
So his head explodes.
All right, we're about to say. All right, I have empathy 1 and perception 2. No,
All right.
I noticed
you
nothing.
botched. Okay.
Is it a botch?
Beautiful.
Okay, so, Henry, everything that's about to be said to you is the result of a perfectly working mind spider. Mason, something's wrong, but you don't have enough knowledge of mind spidering to know exactly what. But yeah, so he kind of looks to you, as you motion to him, drums his fingers on the table, and says, well, obviously I can't go into everything. This is we do a lot of classified work down in the lab, not to offend anyone here. But, well, we've been progressing on our latest medical trials, and I think we've made a breakthrough that I can, of course, forward through to anyone that does have the proper access for the reports we send upward to the, head office.
Great. Guess this video isn't doing that much. Okay. So yeah, that's a great example of communication. That's what I want to see more out of everyone. My team in particular, we have to work on everyone else's projects, and I start just kind of going into that, not really questioning why there, I guess, isn't much going on with the SPD.
I guess I'll text you my suspicions.
Oh no, I'm not checking my texts. Oh no.
Uh-oh.
Is there something you guys can do to figure something out?
I mean, you can just check your texts when they're like.
Oh yeah, that's fine. I meant more as if you guys wanted to do something instead of having Henry. I don't want to take over the scene. That's all.
I think it might just be your scene though.
Okay, sorry. Yeah, no problem. I'll check his texts and I'll be probably a bit confused because
Was everyone supposed to be rolling that empathy, or
If you want, it was easiest for Henry, he would have gotten the most information out of it. But if you want to roll, you can.
I figured it'd be just kind of in the room, right? So.
Right.
let's see, empathy. What's the difficulty?
6.
So personal empathies for me it's a 3. 11 successes.
Okay, so you know enough about Henry's mind spiders to know it's not a letter of the word genie type of thing. He would have given all he could have if he was actually affected by mental control power like that. He definitely did not. He was not acting like someone you've seen affected by that kind of power before.
Yeah, I don't think we also have a way to communicate that non-verbally.
you text me. I
Other than
guess.
looking concerned.
Do an interpretive dance.
I guess I could text and tell, yeah, it didn't work, question mark?
All right, now 2 people are telling me that something's funky. Okay.
Yeah. Now, do you have the phone on to have just gotten several buzzes in a row?
I have no reason to turn my phone off. Yeah.
I'm sure everyone
Well,
gets. I don't know if you've ever worked in an office, but just nonstop Slack beeps everywhere.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, that's fair. All right.
Is that enough justification to feel like something's weird?
Yeah, I mean, if you're not used to getting a bunch of direct texts, you can. I mean, you probably could have noticed that it was those two that just happened to be on their phone, and then you got a
Well,
text, and then it happened
yeah,
again.
I meant more like them saying and pointing out that something's weird.
I mean, I assume mine was like something's off about that. And
Yes,
then
if they.
Dolores
Oh,
is more
yeah, both
direct.
of them pointing that out. If you read the text, is enough to get past your botch.
Okay. Whew. Thanks, guys. So Henry, occasionally glancing down at his phone, like more than once, getting a little bit more confused and, not exactly stumbling, but like pausing briefly and saying, "I'm sorry, guys. It's just, I need to." Okay. Really?
Yeah,
Oh,
there's some mumbling, but people are used to shitty meetings with shitty bosses.
yeah. So he kind of looks back up and goes, "Yeah, so like I said, that's why I think it's really important that we have greater communication, especially with the IT department, so they can, help out in that regard." Say, I'm so sorry. What's your name again? Pointing at the scientist.
Rowan,
Rowan, right, Rowan. So hey, just as a side note, could you make sure to forward all of that stuff, the important stuff, over to my desk?
he kind of
You
takes
got it,
like a
yes.
he kind of takes like a deep breath and then nods slowly and says, "Of course."
Great, good, great. Yeah, I'll, we'll chat after, no problem. Anyways, guys, I'm not sure who else to mind Spider. Uh, um, does anyone have any suggestions? Should I get Jules or try?
I mean, sure, maybe she knows something because she came from outside the office.
Okay. Okay. Um, so I'll again like getting near like the end of like the slides, like basically saying. So again, guys, I just want to review, the key words here: synergy, cooperation, communication. Now, does anyone have any questions? I'm gonna try to mind Spider Jules to speak up and offer anything she knows about the SPD division in
Alrighty.
the context of saying like, oh, to help collaborate.
Right. Um, what did I say her willpower was? Why is it not recorded? I'm an idiot. 7.
Oh baby.
The high end Fomori, they've got pretty good willpower. They have to survive to become high powered. But
yeah.
9 successes is definitely gonna make her do that. I don't believe I gave her anything to stop that. So, she kind of blinks a few times and smiles in a way that Mason's never seen her smile before. It's clearly the first team members don't do the corporate smile, but that's a corporate smile. And she speaks up and says, "Well, in the interest of cooperation, of explaining what our own department is doing, I know our security division isn't quite integrated with Magadon, but the first team has been preparing some exercises in case of an incursion from within the company." And at this point, you see she's kind of like fighting herself, but can't do anything about it. Like, there are rumors that someone in here is feeding information where they shouldn't, that people know things that they shouldn't. And like a couple of the others, like even the non-Fomori first team members, they're like, what the fuck is she talking about? And Mason, yes, this is weird, you have not heard this stuff before you
Okay.
ask. Yeah. You have specifically not been told about this. You have, in your day-to-day work, you've been working with, you've never worked, there hasn't been much work with the entire team at once, so
Right.
it's not something you usually think
Compartmentalizing.
much of because you're basically security, but This is a
So that
surprise
means
to
you're a
you
sub.
too. Yeah.
So that means you're suspect.
Everybody's a suspect. That's how it works.
But yeah, that pretty much covers what she says.
Excellent. Well, thank you so much for communicating that. Do you see, guys? Do you see how important this is? Oh, I feel like we're off to just a brand new start, a brand new day. So please take any snacks with you on your way out. I'll be here for the next couple of minutes to clean things up. Obviously gotta get the room ready for the next person who's gonna have a meeting. And yeah. So thank you guys again. See you later.
Okay. Do you mind, Spider, anyone like on the way out to have them do something or not do something as they're turning to leave?
I'm considering it, but again, I feel like I am bad at choosing targets.
I mean, I will note this. You do know that I'm pretty sure your mind spiders don't actually wipe their memory of them being made to do something, right?
Right. You might want
That's
to tell them not to talk about it.
Yeah.
Oops. Okay.
The
That makes me-
confidentiality clause should remind people.
Okay. So I guess I'll do probably Jules specifically, and I could try Science Man, but he might. He's funked.
I'll just tell you at this point it won't work on him. You can try and spend your essence, but it'll bounce off.
Oof. Okay. Yeah. No. I will. I will at least mind Spider Jules again to not talk about this. Just don't acknowledge it. Deny it if someone else says that happened.
Mm-hmm.
Just fucking bury that deep.
Sounds good.
Don't seal, don't feel.
Okay.
Oh, beautiful.
Yeah.
I love these 9 successes. Mwah.
Okay. All right. Well, yeah. So as everyone's leaving, you notice that Rowan, he gives you a look, and it's a hard look to really make anything out of, but you know that he is eyeing you, and he's eyeing you in a very I know something's up kind of way.
Oh yeah, no, this wasn't particularly subtle. If he gives me that look and people are like filtering out, I'll take a minute to meet his eyes and then say, "Oh hey, Rowan, did you have something you wanted to talk about?"
He kind of takes a moment, and you can see he's kind of purposely waiting for everyone to leave who's going to leave, which is everyone but him and you all. And he says, I don't remember being told about any other I always forget how Pentex usually calls their supernatural assets, because they don't use the word reality deviant.
It's like enhanced or whatever. Yeah.
Right, yeah. I don't remember being told about anyone being enhanced in your departments, especially in the sort of way you seem to be. And he does look at all of you. He does seem to recognize all of you on some level.
Enhanced. Oh, is that? Oh, you're talking about like the benefits program?
Yeah.
Yeah. I look at the others because Henry's clearly not good at keeping a lid on this shit.
I point at Henry and I'm speaking to Rowan and I say Nexus Crawler.
Yeah.
He was not there, just to mention. He was not in the original office. All of those scientists, I believe, died. A few handfuls of low-level people had gotten out.
Right.
Just to say. But yeah, if, as you say, Nexus Crawler, he does he was the type of person who would have been clued in on exactly what happened, and he frowns and says, "All right, why don't you? You know what? He's gonna try giving you a taste of your own medicine.
Oh no. He's gonna mind spider me. Oh shit.
Kind of, yeah. Yep, he rolls. I mean, he's not actually. Can he even lower? Okay, so he's going to need to roll. What's Henry's willpower?
10.
Yeah. Okay.
I forget, do I get like a quick and dirty resistance or whatever it's called in Mage?
If it makes if it ends up going against your what do you call
Intimacies,
it?
you get a reroll.
Intimacies, yes.
Ah, okay.
But yeah, he's going to need. I guess technically with this power, he can't succeed on this. Do any of you have less of a willpower than 10?
I think we all just went crazy.
Yeah, I think you all just
crazy.
went all in on 10. However, he is going to activate a power, so why don't you all roll me awareness?
Oh, I don't have that.
Well, if you don't have awareness, then you can still roll perception.
Unbelievable. I got
Wow.
2 successes off 2 dice. Damn.
That's
Nice.
a lot of botches.
Oh my
Well,
god!
you rolled at least a success, so it's not a botch.
Yeah, true.
All right.
That's a lot of
But
that's a lot of
feels like
ones,
one.
though.
Yeah.
All right, Dolores. Well, Henry, obviously, you notice that, like, he starts basically saying, "Why don't you tell me what's going on here?" And as he says that, a power goes off, and that's pretty much all you get, Henry.
Okay.
Dolores, that is definitely a mind control power. It is definitely a tainted, dark sort of mind control power, and it is more powerful than anything a Fomori would have access to. Like, it feels like it's on another tier of power than Fomori would be.
Oh boy.
Hey, champ. What do you think you're doing?
He kind of frowns, but, he also kind of recognizes that turnabout's fair play if you're both unable to.
I walk over to him calmly. I put a hand on his shoulder, and I say, "Do you think this is the right course of action? Think very carefully. I don't know what just happened, but I don't think I need to know because jack shit happened. Do you understand?" I'm trying to intimidate him, just regular intimidation.
Go ahead and roll intimidation, and your creature of darkness bonuses do apply.
Oh yes, yes. What's my target number? I guess. What's my difficulty?
6, and it'll go against his willpower.
Oh.
As in, like, he'll roll that separately.
Okay, so I will put essence into this.
Not a great roll on this part.
Well, here's hoping I roll better. Oh,
You do indeed roll better.
yay!
He kind of does that thing, when someone's trying to appear tough, but you can tell that they're a little shaken, that they're not on the top of their game anymore. Like, who are you all? Who are you all really?
So I guess this is when I'll trigger listener swaying argument, which I believe cost me a willpower, and give him my best $10 smile and encourage him. Why don't you have a seat and we can have a conversation, and you can tell us what we need to know, and in return we can tell you some things that you don't know.
All right, go ahead and make a roll.
Sure, that's probably etiquette. Let me think. I think my DCs are lowered by 2 with listener swaying argument.
Yes, your difficulty is lowered by 2, so yeah, etiquette or... Like, I need to bring an actual sheet up to look at the abilities, because I always forget exactly what Exwad uses. So yeah, leadership would also work.
Sure. That's helpful, and I can apply an excellency to that because I'm a Dawn, so I'll do that.
Then go for it.
I'll roll it DC 4 unless you give me a different number.
Yeah, because 6 minus the 2. You're just doing an enhanced normal social thing, so this does
Yes.
not bounce off of his redacted.
Yep, and that's why you don't always invest in direct mind control. Sometimes you just get really persuasive.
Exactly. Okay, 4 successes. He thinks for a moment and looks at you all and kind of gauges what you already tried and nods and says, all right, let's talk. And he goes and takes a seat.
Great. So, as a show of good faith, we'll go first. There was an incident in another building with a Nexus crawler. There were a few survivors. It crawled, and I gestured to Henry. That was the result.
He kind of like widens his eyes a little bit. And the rest of you?
Thermonuclear fire.
He blinks a couple of times.
I'm not going to answer for Dolores. I'll let her come up with an answer if she'd like, or just say nothing, which might be even scarier.
Dolores just shrugs like, yeah, what he said.
Says that you all definitely feel different than the sorts of things I've felt around here before. What you did was different.
That's what everyone keeps telling us.
So I'll tell you this much. I'm not exactly the same Rowan that's on file, but I'm also not that Rowan. I'm certainly not, and he kind of does air quotes, genetically enhanced in the way Magadon normally does. Not anymore.
Well, what are you then?
I am old. And he kind of like, you know, as he says that and leans in a bit, you can, he doesn't have an anima or anything approaching that level of power, but he does have that kind of like invisible aura that you can still kind of feel even when his full power isn't visible.
Right.
I am older than, well, at least I would say I'm older than any of the things they normally, I guess we normally put in people here. Well, I'll tell you this, I'm not here exactly to continue advancing the typical day-to-day here. I've been here trying to figure out what to make of this place and what I can make of this place, and you all put a bit of a wrench in that, don't you?
Well, what are your thoughts so far? Because trying to figure out what this place is actually doing is why we're here today.
What this place is actually doing is putting petty spiritual toxins into the populace and choosing specific ones to do experiments with. Clumsy, I guess is the way to put it, clumsy entities that really don't know what they're doing and don't know what to make of a proper vessel or of the soul they're trying to intertwine with the energy that's truly there, with the divine spark that they could be digging into if they weren't such base, terrible beings.
And you believe you can do better.
He nods. I do.
So, what would your end goal look like? And, to be clear, what they're doing here seems rather stupid and pointless to us, which is why let's hold this meeting and see if there's anything actually important going on here, or if it's just spiritual toxins in, I guess, diabetes medication.
This specific building, as best as I can tell, is just a branch of research. You know, we send information up to the Magadon head office, and, you know, when we learn something new, and then they send experiments down that they want us to look into, and ultimately, no, we are not important to the wider world outside of that, and we're only as important to this business itself as, well, we make it depending on what we can discover.
Right. But this stuff they're doing, this like you said, poisoning insulin vials, it doesn't seem to add a whole lot of, dare I say, shareholder value. Like, what's the point?
He kind of, takes a moment and, like, deciding how much he wants to say. Like, well, as best I can tell, the point is just to create better test subjects for the experiments here. There's some wider goal that the company that owns this company has that we're not clued into, even someone like me who has some contact with the with their divisions that look into this kind of research and development.
Okay. So, looks like we'll have to keep digging. But what does your end goal look like then?
I just got here. I mean, in the sorry. He kind of takes a moment, sorry. Several years ago, time is weird. Yeah, I forget most of the humans here now only live a few years themselves, but I've only been here a couple of years. And I've been slowly deciding what to do, basically. And then things started getting weird lately when I got reassigned from outside town to this building in particular.
Yes, they built this one after the Nexus crawler melted the other one.
Right. And, well, things have just been continually weird here in one way or another.
I mean,
Where did you come from exactly?
He kind of motions, like, vaguely, like, you mean me, or this?
Come on, man.
Yeah, kind of gets what you mean. I guess the most accurate way to put it as of late would be that I come from the abyss.
Oh, like, okay, not the ocean, right?
No.
Okay. That would also be weird, but okay. Is
Right.
that the same place where the sun lives? Like the underneath it or something? Like the underworld?
He kind of gives like a vague, like, he's like trying to figure out how to put that himself now. Like, it's not, I wouldn't, it's definitely not anywhere within the sun's light. I can tell you that much.
Is it like where all the human ghosts live? It's not like we get a manual with this thing.
Yeah.
No, the only thing there is us.
Oh! Oh, so there's more of you.
Yes.
Okay,
Well,
cool. Are they
less
still
than there
there?
used to be. Less are still there than used to be there. Recently, something big happened, and even more have been getting out.
Huh. Like getting out. Well, and you make it sound like they're not supposed to get out. Like you were trapped there?
He smiles. We're definitely not supposed to get out.
Imprisoned then.
He nods.
By who?
He speaks a word you can't understand.
What? Okay, is there a translation? I don't know what you just said.
Not without debasing myself.
What? Can you describe? What? I look over at Mason. Like, what am I supposed to do with this?
Well, feel free to elaborate.
He does not.
Okay, so a bunch of you folks escaped from the abyss, and now you're here to do what exactly? I mean, I know you said you've been deciding, but what's the decision you've come to?
Well, I am still deciding. It's not been that long. I admittedly been around a little longer than the most recent influx, but we're very patient. I suppose most at this point are just angry, but I've cast aside a lot of that and just been trying to figure out exactly what I want of existence. Something about the Magadon office out or back east originally called to me, but well, I've still been figuring out exactly what humanity's doing anymore. What is worth doing here. It's, of course, better than where I came from, but I'm still
Well-
finding myself. And he says that in a very, like, clearly making fun of people saying that kind of way.
Right. Well,
Well, you seem to be similar to what we are, really, because we also, well, I also have some memories from like the time before.
I look over at this guy. Do you have like a rainbow glow? I like wave over my head just vaguely. You know, the glow?
Not exactly.
I'm gonna start calling it The Shining now.
Are we gonna call it the Shining? We should call it the Shining. That's what we should call it.
Should we go somewhere more private and show stuff out? Dolores says, looking over the window that's, clearly, visible of,
Oh, yeah. No, let's not do that here. Yeah. I guess you could. Guess you could change it if you wanted to, but
That's probably even more visible.
that is probably very visible. That's true.
Well, don't worry, there are some extra floors beneath the basement now.
Right. We'll just go to the unused conference room on level, -7.
Right. Oh, and by
Perfect.
the way, the Pentex spirit has been in here this whole time too, just taking notes for you.
There's literally nothing we can do to keep it out. So
Right.
it is the building. Doesn't seem to
You
bother
can go
him
see
either.
it.
Oh.
Oh, it was materialized.
Yeah.
You have noticed it does seem to materialize more easily than most spirits do, or at least when it enters that form, the humany form.
Good thing it's not affected by my Gauntlet 9 of the lair.
Yeah, the lair itself does not suffer from the lair penalty.
Yeah. So, should we go?
Yeah.
And
Well, yeah, let's go. If Rowan was willing to come, I don't want to necessarily arm wrestle him just yet.
No, he gets up if it looks like you're trying to. He's curious at this point, and it's not like you've tried to just like light spear him to death or anything.
Right. We all have the courage born of arrogance or whatever. So, or the nonchalance born of arrogance.
Right.
We all head down to sub basement.
we go into the elevator. Dolores asks the building to, put them further than the elevator goes, and it just goes and goes and goes.
He does like look curiously at the elevator being altered and keeping going because he knows that the labs are in the basement, but there's nothing below the labs, except obviously there are.
Yeah, we go into our private, I guess big hall, floor, whatever. And,
What does it
Doris
look
goes,
like? You made it, I guess.
well, it still has the corporate look to it, but I guess there's more space to it for, like a big lab, just, empty for the moment because we haven't figured out what we want to put in it yet.
Oh, right.
Right.
Yes, thank
There might
you.
be the scorch marks from us practicing sorcery down here, but
Oh, yeah,
yeah.
that's a good idea.
Mm-hmm.
I assume that there were lots of botches.
So yeah, I guess Dolores would start out by, activating her anima thing to, give the northern lights here in this room.
I like pointed, excited, like that, like that. Do you have that?
Not like that, no. He kind of
Well,
he kind of thinks for a moment if it like he doesn't want to do what he's about to do, but then he does it, or at least he's gonna try to. I don't need to roll these. I can do it this way, which will calculate successes for me. Okay, so he takes a moment, and then there is a burst of like dark smoke and reddish energy, and then all of a sudden he looks like about 2 feet taller, and then otherwise like this, reddish brown skinned energy. One of his arms is kind of not an arm anymore, glowing red eyes, and yeah, he looks spectacular, really. Henry, that probably looks nice to you because it syncs up nicely with your infernalness.
I'll just kind of like nod my head, kind of getting like a full 360 view, and go, okay, so you are fucked up. Got it. Understood.
Yeah.
I am too, unfortunately.
He lets himself return back to normal. It only lasts a little bit of time. It's a bit of effort to retain that form when I guess part human now.
Part human. Yeah. Okay, but that's not a glow though. That's like a whole like, I mean, like
I
a
mean,
transformation sequence.
Henry has a transformation here now, right?
He hasn't
Your
shown
essence
us.
too.
He doesn't even know if he has it yet. Maybe in character.
I
I
mean,
mean,
It hasn't
I
come
think
up
you
yet.
know.
Yeah.
hasn't come up yet.
So we don't know, but you probably have intuitive knowledge of that stuff.
Yeah.
You just have to stretch in a different direction, and something will happen.
Yeah.
The
I mean, yeah.
Escaflowne music will start.
Yeah, that's basically what I was getting at there. Is it does kind of resonate with your own, demon Shintai form. That's what it's called. Like
Yeah.
it's not the same, but it tickles the same kind of.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do it.
Oh my goodness, should I actually do it? I don't know if I'm gonna waste.
well.
Okay. I'm gonna like Henry's going to again. He's gonna like say, oh wow, yeah, you're fucked up too, and then he's going to kind of stop after he turns back and say, hey, you know what? Watch this. And then Henry's going to like start I'm trying to think here. He's like around his body there is just going to start forming like black glass like geometries forming like a sort of like an eggshell and it gets bigger and bigger and bigger. What's like the max size you can make a room exactly?
I'm not sure, but this is probably like RDF, so it's probably like at least double size the normal room. So I don't know, 4
Okay.
meters maybe.
So he gets to be about at least like 20 feet tall. And then what pops out is, hold on, this. Boop. As the black glass shatters, there is no human being left within. What you see is like a giant spaceship, except just filigreed with these odd symbolic or organic shapes flowing into that headpiece that you see here. And in a deafening, booming voice, it calls out, "Yes, finally, free!"
Well, how do you other two react before anything else? I imagine you're more surprised here.
Yeah, I
Sure.
totally like. I was eating a bag of potato chips from the snack bar that we brought down, and he just like ends up on the floor like what the fuck.
Yeah, pretty much same to the rest of it. Yeah, so we don't know.
Free at last! Oh, sorry. Did I? You spilled your chips. Sorry about that.
Just imagining this booming like, oh, you sorry about your chips, man.
No, exactly. It'll like, cause it can fly. So it'll just kind of shift over to look at the uh the
Hold on.
demon. We don't know it's a demon, but the demon.
Yeah. Out of character, yeah.
Yeah.
So how does Rowan react?
Man, I feel like that thing should have theme music, Henry.
It should. I know.
He looks impressed, but not, shocked or afraid. Like, he's looking at like, damn, that's a nice apocalyptic form kind of look. Because, like, wow, that is very close, but there's definitely something different about you. Especially if you originally came from the energy of a Nexus crawler or something.
Well, Nexus crawlers seem to just melt reality. So, like I said, it crawled, but there's literally no way to tell what it did because it just seems to melt reality. Like takes the laws of reality and stomps on them.
Right. But he brings up his phone for a moment, and like he's not like trying to take a picture or anything. Like he's going into his files and stuff like that, and he opens a few things. Like it says here, you pointing at giant Shintai form Henry were originally found at the old building in, well, a chrysalis much smaller than your current form, but definitely not in a normal human shape nonetheless. And something happened during experiments with figuring that out, and then he kind of waves his hand at you three.
And here we are.
Yeah, we got into some scuffle, and then things changed, and here we are.
Yeah, see, most of the other survivors were run through some basic conditioning to help them forget the trauma, which I imagine you were too, but it didn't take.
Wasn't very traumatic. Traumatic, really.
Right.
Don't speak for yourself. I was very traumatized.
I mean, well, yeah, but you weren't that traumatized.
I saw my coworkers from the mailroom office die.
Did you like them?
I mean, yeah.
Oh, well, I'm sorry for your trauma then.
He
Jeez, Mason, that's
that's not just me. He laughs too.
So anyway, obviously, I mean, I'm not going to talk. Maybe Dolores actually does that every other day, but I don't do that.
I see. Well, you definitely don't feel quite the same as him, but if all of you changed around the same time, there must be some link between you, right?
That's our
Well,
guess.
if we're sharing details, we were told by the sun that we are reincarnated heroes from before the world.
Oh man, I need to look at the mechanics for fucking demons calling up knowledge of before times.
More
Oh
this.
no, does it fuck them up? Oh no.
No,
Oh, okay.
it's more like it's like a past life thing that you know what, I'm not gonna fucking
Yeah.
search for. I'm just
Okay.
gonna roll some dice and see how much it knows about you. Its resolve is. I'm gonna roll its resolve. We.
So it's like if you look in the demon book, they had a whole, you know,
Yeah.
world happening in between the Garden of Eden and the Fall of Man and so on.
Right.
Oh boy. Okay.
For the sake of out of character transparency, the demons I'm using are much closer to the Devil's Due Dark Ages demons, because fuck Fallen.
Right.
So yeah, let's see. Yeah, that's inarguably at least 3 successes. So he, as you talk about that, it's Heroes of Before Time, he stops for a moment and he blinks and he just he looks like 1,000-yard stare for a moment, like something's trying to like a tip of the tongue, except for primordial forgotten knowledge. And then finally, after a few moments, like, wait, no, I know this. This is, what did they call them? They were. He looks kind of mixed up as like different things come through his mind.
Can I invoke my past lives to, I know, blurt out some word that maybe jog his memory that I don't even understand?
Yeah, sure, go for it.
Do I just roll it? Is past lives by themselves?
Yeah, well, you can roll in intelligence plus past lives, and it's basically an expert knowledge that no one could possibly have anymore.
Difficulty?
8.
8. Okay, so let's see.
I believe in
Yeah.
you.
2 successes.
2 successes. All right. So you have brief flashes of memories of demons, and not like the little demons you've heard about talking to mages and stuff here today, or the little demonology books. You remember demons as like these fragments of terrible beings that were defeated in a war long ago, a war that you almost ruined, or no, someone else almost ruined and you were blamed for. No, wait, and that usual mix up that you
Yeah.
can't possibly get through kind of runs through your head. And but there are demons more than that are more than most demons you'd ever see today, things that were thought to be lost to previous ages. So you know that there's an age of legends that something like this guy might have existed before. If you spout a couple of keywords, maybe it'll help jog him the rest of the way.
So I guess it's which sorry, Hyozis?
Yo's, and yeah, that kind of does it for him. And he's like, wait, yes, in a time before we were imprisoned the way we are now, there was a different age that. No, but we existed. There was a different age, and we existed in a different form than we existed in even the current beginnings of this age when we were first cast down before humanity had really even learn to walk. But, and yet, humans existed before then somehow. This
Evil
is a lot.
princess?
Yeah, there.
But walk
This
us through
is-
this one step at a time, and maybe we can help you figure it out.
It's hard to work with the mind I have right now, kind of motioning at his human body. Like, this is essentially when people talk about, you know, an age in the sort of context I'm kind of calling upon now, they mean a different passing of reality. Like, reality began and ended, and then it began and is running towards its end again.
Helen is going to remember this.
Sorry, what did you say, Peter?
Helen is going to remember this. Oh, yes, new reality.
I was about to say, yeah. So it's been started and ended before and come back.
Yes. You all apparently existed back then too, and I, in some form, did before even I was cast down this time? He looks more confused than ever now that he knows more.
Yeah.
So, okay.
You
Start with what you do know. Like, cast down most recently. What was that?
But I already told you by who, but I know some of the sorcerers of this age call it the One, the all-encompassing unity of the universe that itself created the universe. It's the origin of itself. You know, some petty mortals might call it Yahweh, but that is not in any way how things actually worked. But nonetheless, we also spawned from that one, and we helped it create itself, helped shape things, especially around here, this
That
planet.
holy tyrant.
It's even that era is hard for me to recall much of. It's been a long time, and I lost much of myself in my imprisonment.
Well, everyone keeps saying that this is it. That if things keep going the way they're going, there won't be another one.
That's quite possible. I certainly heard the tellings of signs of the apocalypse as of late, and the breaking of many of my brethren out of their prison is, well, certainly one of those signs. Most of us only find their way up here by being summoned and through very special means of then staying here afterward. I myself recalled an ancient ritual that only recently began working again, that allowed me to merge with, well, emotions to himself once more. Which, incidentally, this was someone who already was taken up strangely, which ironically made them a better vessel once I pushed that away. He motions with his hands, like literally just pushing something out.
Okay. So, you escape from, for lack of a better word, hell, and grabbed a Fomori.
Yes.
Well, in terms of bodies to steal, that's like the most. That's like free range chicken. That's like ethically sourced there.
Yeah, we're still kind of working out like how people they are, how much people there is in there. So I still that's still not great to be honest. But you are escaping prison. I can't imagine a place called the Abyss is like nice. And yeah, hard to kind of blame you. Is there any way to get the guy back? The real Rowan?
I'm as much part of this isn't like a Fomori where they completely subsume them and only traces of their personality remain. I am, well, at this point I was so tamped down that there's only a spark of the original person left to begin with, which is why I so much of me is what you're talking to as the spiritual being that inhabited this body.
So he's mostly dead.
Not quite. There are urges and thoughts and memories there that affect me and have integrated with me. It's just the superego, if you will, is mostly me.
Mori, I'll say the same thing. Although, well,
Yeah, they do. That's exactly what I was going to bring up. They say the exact same thing. But they're not really what they were before, but they're not really who the person they were before. They're just kind of a new amalgam.
Well, usually in the case of one of us, we can only join with someone either willingly or who is prepared for us. You know, there's a lot it's a lot more of a merger and a lot less of being strangled by those clumsy things. Like that's really a good way to look at it. They intertwine and strangle and squeeze and we truly integrate. It's like dropping in our case it's like dropping a tablet that dissolves in water to really dumb it down, whereas in their case it's like oil and water that gets shaken around a lot.
So did Rowan willingly? You know.
What was left of him was willing to do anything to get rid of the taint that has been integrated into here, or was.
Oh, okay. Nope, you're automatically justified now. Okay, got it. I would give you a thumbs up, but I don't have thumbs anymore. I really hope this turns off. It's gonna be a bit inconvenient to get around like this, even though I feel like I could destroy the world.
please don't. That's where I keep all my things.
Yeah, no problem. No problem.
Right. How long does the Shintai form last by default? The scene?
I think a scene, yeah.
Yeah, that sounds right.
So like another couple minutes for like the end of the hour or whatever.
15
I
minutes.
think you
something
can
like that.
disengage it, can't we?
I think so. Maybe.
Revealing the Exalt, Shintai
I need to-
There's
rolls.
also,
I need
I
to
think there's
read
an activation roll and stuff like that.
Could
Yeah,
punch
I
you
saw
out of
that.
it.
Okay. It lasts for one scene or until voluntarily dismissed or until filled with lethal or aggravated damage. So yeah, you can voluntarily kind of turn it off.
Okay. Then I guess as Henry says, oh wait, no, hold on. I have the button right here. And then
Button.
the all the metal and stuff just kind of like crunches in as if it's getting like destroyed in super high pressure. And there's a void left. And Henry like steps out of it.
Henry, it was the poop noise, and then it collapses.
That's convenient.
Yeah, right?
I wonder if I get one of those.
I hope so. I hope we all get one of those. I mean, then we could. Oh, what if we joined together? Huh? Megazord? Huh?
Oh no.
Yeah,
Ooh,
Rowan
good
just kind of
ability.
shrugs. He doesn't really know how you work at that level. He's
Right,
already
so-
pulled as much forbidden knowledge as he can manage.
His little
His
demon
ears
mind is
start-
puckered out.
Oh.
His ears start to bleed.
So, I mean, I guess a whole bunch of your brethren are really mad about being imprisoned and want to destroy the universe. That seems to be what you're implying.
Yes. See, those that used the ritual I did cast away most of that hatred, but you need to understand that hatred is at this point transformative. To cast it away is it's not automatic. You can't just forgive. It requires sorceress power on our part to perform that ritual and get rid of that never-ending hatred to an extent of, functioning subtly in the world.
Okay.
Hatred of
So
what? To be
Sorry, what
clear.
was that?
Hatred of what, to be clear?
Everything.
Oh, that's pretty bad.
Yes, so you weren't you weren't exaggerating when you said wanting to destroy the universe. If one of them thought they could, they probably would. Now, that being said, the ones that are escaping are weaker and might similarly be able to perform such magic without it being as distant a concept to them, because weaker or stronger, they still have the same age to them.
okay.
So some might end up like me, but others might use the old ways of binding to the earth or binding to reliquaries or jumping from host to host and destroying them with that powerful hatred from within.
Right. Yeah, I saw that movie. Okay. Uh, sounds like I should put that on my to-do list.
Yeah. Okay, and to be clear, your friends, they have nothing to do with Pentex.
Well,
Oh,
I don't have the upper level classifications, but things like reliquaries that might have carried such a thing in the past and might be able to again if the same demon found it have certainly passed their way through here and there. And there's no telling how many infernalists might already exist within the more esoteric branches of the company.
Christ.
I guess. Okay. That sounds like a thing I should look into. So what we haven't been able to figure out is what the heck their goal. You mentioned like they have some goal that we're not clued into, but it just seems pointless and stupid. Stupid's a good word.
As best I can discern, a lot of them are bad for the sake of bad, and I know plenty of beings that are like that in a very different way, that are very less subtle about it. Most inherently evil things just do evil and burn out, or are powerful enough that they don't burn out and need to be destroyed. This is nothing like what Magadon is doing existed back in the previous eras of this age.
Right. Well, they all say that they're part of something called the Great Devourer, Great Destroyer. It has a lot of names. They're all roughly the way I would describe it, like, the great fucker-upper of everything.
I unfortunately could only tell you about this same thing. This devourer did not exist in that form when we were originally around.
That makes sense to me. I, people keep saying that it's some kind of fact, like a thing that should exist, but that doesn't jive with me exactly. I mean, I could be wrong, right? I'm not exactly an expert on this yet, but I'm willing to keep an open mind about it. It seems to me that the universe needs fixing, and we have an opportunity to do so.
Funny you say that, Mason. Remember the wizard at Hoover Dam?
Sure.
Talked with him. He said it would take. He said it would take a universal reset.
That seems like something really easy to fuck up.
Yeah. Well, we were also told this might be the quote unquote the last one, whatever the fuck that means.
Means no reset.
I don't accept that, just to be clear. I'm
Well,
just letting you know.
yeah, no, won't. I plan to not let the universe stop. What exactly that looks like, I haven't got it clear, and I don't even know what Pentex is doing, much less how to do that. Right? Kind of a big job,
There's
but
got to be another way to do it.
right. So my question for you, Rowan, is: are you going to be part of the solution, or are you going to be part of the problem?
He kind of looks at you all and says, I suppose this is a case of where you're not going to just let me take another century to think about it.
We don't have another century.
Hmm.
Okay, listen, I'll moderate a little bit and say, if you want to just not get in anyone's business for a century, that's kind of fine. Like, I would also prefer that you somehow help us, but you don't have to. What we would not be cool with is the destroying the universe part.
Well,
That wouldn't be cool.
if it makes all of you feel better, as I said, I ritually cast away the hatred I had. There's still some of that malice, and I wouldn't mind, as some of the youth today say, punching God in the face, if that were possible, but I'm not seeking to destroy the universe just for existing. I'm just trying to find out what I do want to do, what I can do, if there's some way in this world that's so, forgive the term, swarming with humans, if that might mean that some level of the divine spark is there without having to resort to the old ways of gathering that power in the worst
Okay.
possible ways.
So
For the time being, I have been fine with the divine potential that I skim off of those in my work group.
find that people amusing for some reason. Okay. So let's talk. That what you need? Like you eat divine potential?
Right. Humanity has, the universe was created by the One, but the One is also integrated throughout the universe in various ways, and one of those ways is the spark of the soul that allows humans the potential to do things like, well, what they're already doing, as well as things like perform sorcery or to otherwise elevate themselves to alter the universe in the same way the One did, if on a smaller scale, without directly channeling that power. They create it on their own. I do not. We originally were allowed to channel it directly, but once we were cast away, that was taken away. We don't have that same spark to create it ourselves. Now, the majority of people don't do anything with the excess energy that casts off. And so if they. And so in old times, that meant cults of worship to channel that faith into us, but these days I've found that simply being recognized as, say, the head of a department by those working beneath me, so long as they respect me to some degree, I can find ways to skim off of that same potential.
Interesting. I wonder if I'm supposed to be building churches. I should ask.
He shrugs.
Yep.
Now,
Oh, so I guess we should get promotions in this office, and maybe we too will be empowered.
Yeah,
So,
what's
we
this
already got
supposed to feel like? Just
well,
more juice?
on that note, give me just a moment. Fuck, what did I give him for? Loop. Okay, he looks at you all and he says, You You all generate that same spark yourselves. You did not come to be what you are in the same way I did. You are still. You. You're like that spark exploded.
It feels like sunrise.
Right. Maybe that divine spark is a divine bonfire in you. It might be part of the sorts of things that have been happening lately.
Okay, let's talk about that for a little bit. What sorts of things have been happening? I mean, we've been messing up this particular location, sure, but
Well, there's been tell of, among some of the contacts I keep, there's been tell of humans that, not quite to the extent of you, but still more than normal, have taken on some sort of a supernatural power to them. But on the other side of that, there have been storms in the deepest parts of the underworld, and there have been, well, obviously, like I already told you, about our own prison cracking open a bit, about some other about other powers, both great and terrible, finding their way into the world. It's becoming a lot harder for the supernatural to remain hidden. Things are happening. Um, well, that's about all I know about it right now.
okay. So we've essentially got, if you want to call it, a mandate to make sure that there is still a universe at the end of the day. Which is a big job, and I'm kind of annoyed that it was sort of dumped on us.
Yeah, the sun's kind of an ass. I'm just gonna say it.
Got the same problem you do. You can't remember anything.
Yeah.
By you, I mean Rowan, right? He
Mm.
also had brain problems. Like, I don't know. If I didn't know any better, I'd say he had like head trauma.
Yes, well, I'll put it this way. Before I ran into you three, I'd never recalled any, well, at least in this form, I've yet to recall any sort of memory about a previous existence
Right.
to the extent I did today. So something is definitely different.
Yes. So, essentially, what I am going to tell you is that you could probably take, the next decade, century, whatever, to continue, meditating on your existence, or you can help. If you don't help and we don't succeed, there'll be nothing for you to inherit.
What exactly did you have in mind?
I don't know. You're the first devil I've ever talked to.
No, I'm not the devil. No one knows where he went.
Oh, okay, so that's actually a thing. Great.
So okay. So which angel? What's your angel name? Come on.
I am not telling you that. There's
But
power in our names.
God damn it! So my mom was right.
Had a weird.
Ah,
What?
fuck. I'll explain later.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. There's some baggage there that I'm not aware of.
Little bit.
So, yeah. So let's imagine for just a second that you did decide to, let's call it, make up for your past mistakes. How would you go about it? What could you bring to the table?
He looks kind of indecisive there, but eventually starts to say, well, I have a great amount of knowledge of the biological and physical makeup of the world, not just on the scientific level as humans understand it, but on the preternatural components of all of that.
Well, that
It's
would be a big help right there, I think. Don't know
Yeah.
anything but what people tell us. And all the perspectives seem skewed. And I'm sure yours will be too, but that's okay, because the more we collect, the better picture we get.
mm-hmm. Well,
So, are you? So hold on. Are you using biology and all? This is a. This company makes medicine. Are you involved in that? I mean, okay, no, sorry. You just recently escaped, right? Have
thus
you been doing anything like that? Have you been messing with the
thus
medications?
thus far, as I said, I've just been gathering information. I've been doing as I've been asked to the extent that I imagine the Fomori version of me was previously capable of, because I didn't want them reevaluating my file yet.
Okay. And so, and then they're doing research into something, but it doesn't seem like it's really scientific. And I don't know, they're doing stuff.
Yeah, what the hell is SPD actually? Is that really all there is to it? What you talked about?
SPD, I only have a basic connection to that aspect of Pentex. It's the it's the for lack of a better term, it's magitech. It's learning how to combine sorcery and advanced science in new ways and using that to advance Pentex's goals.
And
Whatever
that's
they do, you know,
different.
but we don't know what those goals are. It's really hard to
Yeah.
explain.
I mean, it includes the goals of each individual company. So in our case, it does mean the better SPD does, the more able they are to integrate a Fomori into a human. The type that I was before I pushed it out was actually a lot more complex even than typical possessions that tended to break down.
Right.
Still clumsy and primitive by my standard, but it's the sort of thing, that's the path that they've been working down, and it's possible someday they might be able to create something as advanced as me. And he says that with like pride that's inherent, but not like he's trying to show off to you. He's just like, yeah, I'm great, this is the state of the universe, accept that.
Right. And I mean, they seem to have like these Ferrectoi,
Yes, that
that according to
is
the file are pretty
that is
stable.
what Rohan was beforehand. Or,
Okay.
well, he was an early version of that, but yes, the more advanced ones happen sometimes these days right in the womb. They get essentially impregnated by these creatures.
It's like something I should kill.
Now, obviously I was still able to push away this level, but I'm not sure exactly how difficult that would be for the more recent types.
I mean, Jewel, like, I have some sympathy for the ones after they're born, but the whole, like, let's go possess fetuses is kind of skeevy.
Yes.
Right? That seems like a thing that I should figure out how to track those down and kill them. Well, I imagine they're in the spirit world, and that place is a crazy mess.
Gee. Oh, I hope we don't have to go back there.
Well, see, that's the thing. These more
Fucking nightmare.
advanced Fomori, there are countless ways they try to do this. Some of them involve, using actual spirits. Some involve various ways that they use the most advanced technologies of SPD to do it artificially and yet still carrying that same level of essence that would blossom into a Fomori eventually.
Okay, so But is Pentex just like, I don't know, like Fomori by Fomori for Fomori kind of thing, where they're just sort of let's spread our wings and reproduce?
I don't think so. The Fomori are ultimately, in their eyes, middle management at best. There are things above them. I can't tell you the inner workings of Pentex or anything, but in SPD, I've definitely seen evidence and heard talks of more of the most advanced of humanity's sorcerers uh, being able to the most advanced of humanity's sorcerers influencing that work and trying to create it in ways that could be reproduced by those with a less developed spark.
So we talked to some of those guys, and they don't seem like the type that should be doing that, right? That they were all like, "Oh, the supernatural is terrible, and we have to kill it. We're the supernatural, the assassins, I guess."
You
But
don't
then,
need to speak to me of the hypocrisy of humanity.
right? So yeah, I'm not a big fan of those guys right now. So I guess we'll pick your brain about all the boojums and spookery around here, and by here I mean like Nevada.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, and that'll be a start.
All right.
But
Well, if you otherwise leave me be, I'm happy to send you any of my files you haven't already broken into and tell you what I know when you need to know it.
sure.
By the
Oh,
way,
and
go on.
I was just gonna say, oh, and sorry about trying to program your brain, and I extend a hand to him to shake.
He shrugs and shakes and says sorry for trying to do the same.
Ah, haha! I knew it! I knew it! Okay, that wasn't just a funny feeling. Got it. Ah,
I did warn you
finger
that might happen.
So, what do you know about will workers and the technocracy? Do we even have that word? I think we did, right?
Well, yeah, you know the word. He says, well, SPD is connected to the technocracy. They don't tell us that. That's something I figured out on my own. And as I said, those are the advanced sorcerers of humanity. As much as they like to pretend that they're not, that sort of capability is born of that spark, is born of the magic that was once taught to them by our own kind.
Yes, it seems to be totally unrelated to our magic.
Perhaps. But it is ultimately just that magic.
Yeah, well, it's clearly not science because no one
Yes. Now
no one said.
that being
Oh,
said, they are able to produce interesting they are able to produce interesting results and things that can be more widely dispersed by combining it with magic or combining it with science.
right. Okay. Their worldview seems much more narrow than actual scientists would be. Was mostly what I was getting around to saying.
They like to think that the way they see things is, well, the way things are.
Right, which is actually bad science. Anyway,
yeah, I'd say so.
He shrugs.
right.
The science that humans do is a construct of humans anyway.
Uh, it- I need to think on that one.
Right. So yeah, okay. Gosh, sounds like this job is a big job, and we're definitely going to need more than the three of us to save the world, I suppose. For lack of a better word, hopefully there's someone else to help.
Just saying, we could be friends, huh? Maybe, possibly.
He's quiet for a moment just to make sure you're done. And like I said, I won't get in your way. I'll tell you what I know. Most of my ability with reality is focused on myself or directly on what I'm supposed to be doing anyway. So if there's something along those lines you need, you can let me know.
Sure, there's plenty of weird stuff that we can look into. And hooray, information sources, because we sure need more of those.
He nods.
And, and certainly, like, you clearly have contacts we lack. I assume you guys have, like, I don't know, demon mailing list or something. And so if you hear of anything interesting, and by interesting, I mean apocalyptic, or perhaps counter-apocalyptic, letting us know in advance would be really useful.
Well, most of my kind hate each other, actually.
That's not entirely unexpected, actually.
But I do have occasional contacts among other supernatural, or other, I guess, yeah, other supernatural beings.
Okay, let's talk about that for a second. So we've met wizards, obviously, and now you, and
Werewolves tried to kill us.
yeah, there were werewolves, I guess. I mean, they died.
Spirits exist. There's that.
So what kind of things do you talk to?
Well, I keep a basic line of communication open with the small handful of vampires that are within Las Vegas.
Oh my god. Vampires?
Well, the werewolves exist. You can't have one without the other, right? It's like peanut
What
butter and
else? Are
chocolate.
there mummies too?
Yes,
What? What is
I
that?
I don't know of any around here though.
Okay, I don't
Yeah.
even know how to process that. All right. Cool. Wow. Anything else?
He thinks a moment and shrugs. Mostly, I have lines of communication open with individuals here and there among Pentex. I do know a few of the technocrats directly, mostly in the Special Projects Division, because none of the others would want to interact with me peacefully, and I don't want to invite that, or invite the possibility of that. Um, I, I suppose that's really it. A handful here and there. Some of the lesser sorcerers. There are little groups of them all around the city.
Okay. So is there anything we should know about vampires and sorcerers that they might not necessarily want us to know?
Well, the vampires don't cause too much trouble around here because they are, like I said, not particularly plentiful, and many of the magic users already know about them and keep them in check if they start to cause trouble. That's the thing. A lot of the times, from what I've come to understand, the vampires and the technocrat mages are at odds for control over cities. They both want influence in the same areas, and so one tends to be a lot stronger than the other, or else is a lot subtler than the other, even in our context.
Hmm.
Okay. So, and I have to ask dumb questions like, are they born that way? Is it like a fight thing?
Are they always evil?
He shrugs. They, as best I know, they change each other, but I don't know about the evil in them other than knowing that if they came from humanity, they must have some propensity for it.
Um, Werewolves seem pretty evil.
No, they usually. Well, you must not have run into the right werewolves.
Huh?
Okay.
They're
Yeah.
usually the ones fighting Pentex.
Oh wait, like what the wizard told us about the ones on the bridge in the spirit dimension. Remember?
Oh, well, yeah, but I just figured those were the same as our werewolves. Or by our, I mean the ones that we stabbed to death.
Oh yeah.
Don't get me wrong, even the ones that are fighting for good things tend to fight everyone they don't understand.
Which
So,
I assume is everyone.
but they usually have a reason, even if the reason is just you smell of what they call the worm.
Oh, I look over at him. I think it should be me that handles those initial negotiations.
Yeah.
Okay, and
Probably.
the werewolves are also like spread by bites, or is that not a thing? Is that just a vampire thing?
I don't know as much about them. They don't like me.
Oh.
I
Well.
could see that. Yeah. Okay.
Are you also like worm thing?
Mm,
Worm style?
to the same extent you are, I imagine.
Huh. Okay, but like whatever it's called, Great Devourer, all that bullshit. Um, that's like an entity, like a thing. But
So
but it.
the werewolves have a mistaken understanding of the universe, and essentially they call everything of the worm that comes from. He kind of like looks like he's struggling to put it without
Darkness.
switching to
I
his like Enochian type languages.
yeah.
It's like uh, they essentially bottle up things like, you know, demons and, well, something close to demon like you, but are still born of humans that would probably still register as them because they also tend to dislike even those touched by infernal power. They confuse it with the same kind of corruption as theirs, as their Banes and Fomori, which I'm not saying they're not wrong about some of my more hateful brethren being something to destroy, but it does not come from the same place and does not serve the same sorts of masters. In fact, we usually prefer not to serve anything.
Be okay.
Yeah.
So clearly some of your brethren do need to be destroyed, and I suspect that's really, really hard.
It depends, but any that would be a focus for needing to be destroyed are going to be very hard to, yes.
Okay. Well, let me know. I'll be happy to look into that if there's really someone bad.
If I start passing too many names to you, I am going to be targeted, and I am not as powerful as I once was, so I'm going
Sure.
to be careful about that.
Well,
That's
we can protect you.
well, I mean,
Just
that's not
saying.
we say that, but it's not proven yet, Uh
Small steps.
baby steps, right?
I guess so.
Still, if it's, like weighing against destroying the universe is definitely a thing that you should put in your mind. I'm not expecting necessarily altruism out of you, but you live here too now.
I'll
Yeah.
tell you what, if one of them starts actively being more of a problem than just a very powerful, tormented thing, I'll let you know.
Sure. Sounds like it might, in some ways, be a mercy, really.
Mm.
Well, okay. I guess I should. Gosh. So All right. So I'll handle negotiate. I guess if we're going to introduce ourselves to the local creatures, probably I'll lead the talks with quote unquote werewolves, whatever else they are, and maybe you'll talk to the vampires, or we'll do that as a group. I'm not sure if they have the same level of perception as our friend here.
Excuse mine. But yeah, you should talk to the to the to the werewolves.
It-
Hopefully
right.
they won't just immediately like try to kill you. Yeah,
Well,
that'd be
their
cool.
option is they do immediately try to kill me. I'm the most likely to live.
Yeah.
Right. And I have a feeling that if we talk to them first, that lessens the you trespassed on our sacred moon bridge and now we're going to stab you problem that we might have had in the spirit world.
Great. That would be awesome.
Right. Well, that feels like an introduction we should definitely make. Maybe vampires for roughly the same reason. I don't know how, like, everything's weird and I don't know, right?
Yeah.
Clearly the werewolves feel like they have some kind of duty or obligation or something. Don't set up guard posts for no reason. Maybe the vampires are the same way.
Drug.
But we won't know until we ask.
Yeah. So where can we find these vampires?
God damn it, gonna make me get the tiny bit of vampire knowledge about the Vegas said.
What are all their names?
Yeah, in alphabetical order, and I want their phone. And you should recite their phone numbers too.
I mean, start going to casinos, and eventually we'll find them. Just look it up
There
this
are a
shit.
couple of things. Alright, so he thinks a moment and says, well, I suppose individuals as powerful as you would find them one way or another anyway, so as long as you don't in any way explain that my name is connected to why you're suddenly calling them, there is a vampire called Benedict who is their de facto leader within the city for what influence they have. They usually congregate north of the strip, away from the casinos, and in fact, even their as best I know, their laws forbid them from being around those businesses. Likely for the reasons I mentioned before about rivalries with the technocracy and others that might have control over them. They likely don't want to cause problems for themselves. There's also another vampire not aligned with them called, he thinks for a moment, Rothstein. They're a more necromantic type of vampire. They can call on a sorcery of their own, though it doesn't work in the same way as the divine magics of humanity.
Okay, that's like Arnold Rothstein, the gangster. No.
He kind of gives like a I'm not saying anything more about him kind of look.
Well, okay. Supposedly Arnold Rothstein's really bad at poker, so we have that angle. Okay. That's and does he know how we could reach out to this Rothstein guy if the Benedict meeting goes south?
If you talk to certain people and say you want to meet him, you will. I'm afraid I'm going to have to, in his case, I'm going to have to tell you to figure that out on your own.
Okay, no problem. I'll ask the ghosts if I can find ones that will talk to me.
Oh, ghosts now. Ghosts.
I told you about ghosts last week.
Oh, right. Shit, I forgot.
I mean, I haven't had a bunch of time to go hang out with them, but yeah, definitely ghosts.
God
What
damn
next?
it.
Is Santa real?
What reason is that?
If you run into a sidereal, they're not doing their job.
Yeah. I mean, they're new to this too, right? So they might make a newbie mistake.
It's true.
And also, it might not necessarily even be a mistake. The whole mysterious wizards thing didn't work out for them so well last time.
I mean, who knows how they ended up in the Black Vault for this canon.
Well, clearly, things did not go exactly to plan if they ended up in the Black Vault.
Well, maybe that was their plan.
Okay, we're gonna exit stage left now. Ooh. Okay, well that gives us some groundwork to look into, and yeah, worth talking to these boojums, for lack of a better word. And
What?
boojums, spookery.
I've never heard that word in my life.
Oh well, now you have.
No, I have.
Okay, that is certainly a thing. And if there's anything you need from us, I'm not sure what exactly you would need, but I'm certainly willing.
I'll let you know.
Yes, I'm willing to entertain your suggestions as I carefully avoid the word "make a deal." Definitely don't want to deal with the devil, right?
Right.
Are you sure? There's a whole nice little system in XWAD for getting demonic powers.
Yeah, you can just sell your soul
Ooh,
1% at a
happy
time.
Right.
Yeah.
And you don't actually know how much you've lost at a given time, so...
Right.
Yeah,
But,
that system is like really good if you really build for it. But yeah.
Oh yeah, it can be really good if you really go into the attribute and skill roll that it uses or whatever.
Yeah.
Because
if you
if you can outclass the demon in the negotiations table, you can get half your stuff for free.
right. I'm
But
sure
the problem
that
is you don't know how good you did.
right. And there's also maybe the Eclipse cast could get away with it, but or the equivalent.
Like, I mean, you probably could take someone else's soul, also bargain with that, and so on. But yeah.
Probably.
I mean, the demon will make that deal because it's basically 2 for 1 at that point.
Right. It's it becomes like a soak pool for your own soul.
Right.
All right. So anything else you want to discuss
I
with
think
Rowan?
not at this time. I'm sure we'll have we'll probably bring him weird evil stuff. Like we have people for weird good stuff, and he's our weird evil stuff guy now.
There you go. Yeah, you can add him as a contact. All of you, I mean.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
I will label him the weird evil stuff guy.
Accurate enough. He is happy to go back to work in the rooms that are supposed to exist.
Right. And he's one of the guys who's wake up sweating. Like, why am I sweating? Why am I afraid? I shouldn't be afraid. I'm an immortal being.
Yeah, I don't think he quite works that way. Alright, so what do you all want to do now? You keep adding more stuff you want to do before just staking your claim on the local lab.
Well, it's also like the mind spidering didn't work as well as we'd hoped, right?
That's true,
Like,
but
seems
he
like
also isn't going to get in your way.
True.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, but do you have the tools you need, or need more tools?
My memory's so poor. I'm trying to remember all the details of the original plan. We were gonna mind spider folks to get information, right?
Which
Yeah,
is working.
I think
Worked
the
better than we thought. Yeah.
I think the long term was you wanted that, the charm that gives you full control over them to get the department heads with.
Okay, fair enough.
Which, in the short term, Dolores' charm can give you some amount of control.
Right,
Okay.
and of course we still have to keep an eye on the entrance because it's a node now, and people will probably start poking around.
Mm-hmm.
and we need to work on getting the money to pay off the technocracy so that they stop doing the SPD stuff.
Right. Or, we just get that guy terminated.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the thing.
So-
Do you want to make a ton of money, or do you want to get rid of him?
Or both. Well, I mean, we should make a
Well,
ton of
yeah.
money and then get rid of him, maybe, but
We should
Right.
not be taking the make money off the table. No reason not to make
Right.
money.
Making
how
money
would-
is on the table. The question is when and who does it go to?
Exactly.
okay.
Um,
So,
I mean,
Yeah, maybe we
could
should take
go-
that guy off the table. Sorry, go ahead, Pete.
I said that we could go report to his daughter and like, hey, this is what we know about the SPD. Why are you guys involved in this? Who are the vampires? Give us some details. We know you know about the vampires.
Wait, you're going to who and asking that?
The was it Mitchell's?
seems
was
unwise.
Mitchell's daughter?
Mitchell should be the guy we talk to one more time ever.
Right. There's
Well,
Mitchell the daughter and
Mitchell.
Mitchell the father. Okay, yeah.
Yeah,
Right.
Denise.
Denise.
Mitchell, the daughter, though, is not. I mean, obviously she's in cahoots with technocracy and everything, but it doesn't seem like she's fully on board with what her dad is doing.
True, but she's going to have to gather a lot more evidence before she makes a move.
True.
So here's a question. I mean, we're in this conference room eating fallen potato chips. So if you did want to make a big pile of money, how would you go about it?
That's up to you all.
Mostly I'm asking Henry. He's the one with the
Okay.
first toolbox.
I am super sorry. I didn't hear what you said.
Oh, how would you make a lot of money?
Okay. Scam some crypto freaks.
I don't
They
know
have
those-
lots of money they're not using.
I mean, guys, we're in Vegas. Why don't we just gamble for it?
Do you have a way to win?
I mean, you seem to be quite adept at hacking, controlling machines.
Yeah.
Ooh, are
I
you going to scam the
Could just do
casinos?
that.
I'm not doing that. Henry's gonna do that.
It'd be really easy. Just, I'm not very subtle or good at lying. Maybe. Dolores,
Yes.
would you like to win a lot of money at a casino?
I mean, that sounds like an option.
Okay. Well, fuck, we could just do that this afternoon.
Yeah, I mean, they stay open all night, pretty much.
Mm-hmm.
Fuck. Okay. Which casino do we want to hit? Is the only question, I guess.
I don't know.
Wasn't Mitchell connected to the Luxor? So we could always go through. Or was that some the other mage?
Oh, that would be kind of amazing. He might. Okay. I kind of.
Well,
If
that's
you
my-
win it at
that's my
his
notes.
own place, he's going to know. I mean, you're all.
Yeah,
I
don't
can
scam-
make you
don't
roll
scam
common
Mitchell's
sense,
casino.
but
Like, if we should avoid Mitchell's casino for now. Like, even if
Hmm.
we were just going to go on a holiday.
I mean, if you want to go that route, I won't stop you. But
Yeah, well, it's
I feel like I need to
I will
warn
stop
you.
you. I'll be like, that's a bad idea. We should not do that. Like I said, Mitchell is the kind of person we'll see one more time,
Mm-hmm.
one way or the other. So, okay, we could ask. We could ask what casinos are controlled by evil monsters, and scam that one.
I guess so.
I mean, if whoever owns a casino is probably an evil monster.
Yes. Well,
Wow. Nice.
All of them.
wrong question to ask.
Which casino is owned by an evil monster? Yes.
They're called capitalists.
Oh
Mhm.
my.
Hey, some are owned by pension funds, which are an extra step for the evil monsters.
All evil monsters.
Yeah. Okay. My
There's
All right.
also a Pentex storage facility that seems to that we might be able to get something interesting out of? Because I remember there was some weird package that came by like a while back that I didn't think much of, but now that I think about it, there might be something worthwhile there.
Okay, we can go. That sounds somewhat more ethical than scamming a casino with evil magic. Just
Come
saying.
on, that's perfectly ethical. What are you talking about?
Okay, well, which casino do you want to rob? And then we can, after you finish robbing the casino, when night falls, we can head up this warehouse if you want.
Sure. You know what? I'll meet you there.
Okay. Which casino you get? I feel like I should go with you. I feel like you're going to end up in cast if I don't go with you.
Okay. Yeah, I might. Yeah. Okay. You should probably talk people down. Yeah.
Well, I mean, Dolores can do that. I'm more of a prevent your bones from being broken repeatedly.
Okay. Sure.
So which casino do you want to hit?
Let's hit the Bellagio.
Okay.
Okay.
Wait, was that Mitchell's casino?
I don't think so.
Okay,
All
I
right.
will.
So let's see here. Maybe Red Rock?
If you want, I mean,
No, wait, no,
So-
that's kind of far away.
I've got a coupon for Bally's.
Oh,
fine, let's do that.
sure.
Yay.
An old
He's got
coupon,
like a coupon
for them reopening is the horseshoe, which I did pull an image out, so let me refresh that in my assets so everyone can see it. Doop doop doop. Is that the one? No, I grabbed. Oh, yep, that's the newer one. Sorry, I have to take the asset and then turn it into an image thing to be able to share it with you. Ta-da!
So tiny.
Horseshoe.
Horseshoe.
Yep, they basically completely renovated Bally's for some reason. I mean, unless you all are heavy gamblers, you probably don't know in character about anything other than... Heck, you might not even know you might actually be saying Bally's in character and you'll get there and it'll be the horseshoe.
Right. Nope. Yeah. Like, where is this place? I can't find it. Like, the address is right. Ooh. Well, this one's good as any. Let's go in.
Let's go in.
All right. Where is that actually? I should check that really quick. Come on, Google. Open back up. Alright. Pretty sure it's around the... Oh wow, I think it's actually below our map. It's in, like, east of Spring Valley. Okay, so we don't need to worry about putting it on the map. Either way. So yeah, you get in the car and just drive there. Obviously
Yeah.
at the end of work.
End of the workday. Yeah.
Yeah.
That coupon isn't gonna. That coupon expires in 3 weeks. We can't leave it.
Right. Okie dokie. So, why did I close that image?
Oh, I'm recharged, aren't I?
Yes. Especially by the end of the workday.
Yeah,
Fuck
you've got your
yeah.
whole dragon nest there and all.
Yes.
Let's just leave that image open. Okay. So yeah, you get there. It's typical weeknight, not... Wait. What part of the year is... Oh yeah, it's March, so, you know, decent amount of foot traffic, but it's the middle of the week, not the weekend, so it could be worse. So you can get there without too much of a problem since it's by the highway.
Right. Okay.
All right.
It's probably full of old people because it's a weekday.
Perfect. I'll fit right in.
Yeah. Dolores, like, does Dolores have a favorite stool? Like, this is my machine. It's due to hit any day now.
I've been putting this quality in this machine for 10 years.
Oh God. Oh, Dolores. Today's gonna be your lucky day, I guess.
Right.
Hmm.
Okay. Anything you do before heading inside?
Um, no, we're just
Yes.
here
I
to
put
camp.
on sunglasses because I'm cool.
I mean, it's
Uh-oh.
Nevada. Sunglasses are mandatory,
Yeah, that's true.
Mm,
and like a big hat. It's not even like we're in disguise. It's the fact that
Yeah,
I don't get
don't look at our
sunburned
character
anymore, but
portraits.
right.
I have a remarkable resistance to being sunburned now, which is really nice. But still, that just means I can avoid the sunscreen. I still need the glasses.
Right.
I guess I'll pop milieu blending camouflage, which for one essence lets me fit into the scene perfectly. Which I guess doesn't change much, but in case I don't know something.
No, that's probably going to be pretty useful if you say hit a jackpot and people might wonder about it.
I'll
But
look like the regular.
right,
You
you are
just look
just
like
the
you got
lucky old
lucky.
lady.
Yeah.
Okay.
Perfect.
All right. So how are you going about scamming the casino?
I think the plan is literally for her to go up to like a machine and like I don't know, you could put in a few quarters and not hit it and then you'll eventually hit it. You could hit it right away. What would seem
I
less
mean,
suspicious, I guess.
we have some time, so probably could sit around, enjoy the cocktails for like an hour or something, while gambling away the quarters.
Perfect. Okay.
So
All
how
right.
are you going to hack it?
Ironically, Dolores is probably really good at poker or whatever with her super
Yep.
perception.
I mean, we can do that later or after we have the seed money.
Right.
Right.
So is
Oh,
that your plan? Are you going to go win some seed money at the slots and then take it to a poker table?
I guess we could do that.
That'd be
Well,
super
either
fun.
today or in general.
Sure. I mean, I don't think I'm particularly good at gambling, so I think it's a Dolores thing. Lead the
It's
way,
definitely the worst thing.
and you'll just make the slot machines pay out when they're not supposed to.
right. Okay.
So yeah, if she heads up, yeah, we'll have a few drinks and then when she heads up to the machine, ding ding ding.
Okie dokie. So while Dolores is not going to try and stop you, you are still going to need to roll your intelligence plus technology roll to take control of the machine that doesn't want you to.
Oh, fancy.
Magically
Okay.
detected.
Fortified.
Technocracy slots. I mean, how else would you be detecting mages if not through casinos and lotteries and all that shit?
Fair enough. What is the opposing character's willpower?
The opposing character's willpower. It's called 7.
7.
Hmm.
Okay. I'm sorry, you cut out a little bit. All I heard was 7.
Yep, that's all I said.
Okay. Well, I just needed one success, I believe.
Um.
The device is mine.
Yeah. Sorry. I'm just double checking the power really quick. Wait, where is?
Maybe paste it in the chat or someone.
No, I'm looking for the charm right up because I wanted to double check it. Here it is. Electric Devil Caress. Operate any device, blah blah blah. If it wishes possession of someone who doesn't want her mucking about, it's intelligence plus technology against the difficulty of their willpower. Okay. In that case, you all are Essence 2, correct?
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. Which I believe is the equivalent
I think
of...
we pinned that.
Yes, you did pin that. Let me double check that.
Arete 4.
Who said anything about Arete?
Rank 3, Generation 7, Dharma 4.
That does not cover, well, Okay, so what we're going to do is I'm just going to roll something else, and we'll just do a raw success comparison. Which you will probably win, because these are nothing too potent. Okay, you do win. So, it takes you a little bit of effort, but eventually you grab control of the, slot machine, and, it twitches just a little bit as it decides that the random variable generation, however that works in the modern slots, it's probably just actual software. Well, you could hack software. I don't know. It's probably just software. It decides that you've won the mega jackpot, however much that tends to be for a slot machine. I'm actually curious about that.
I've been Googling it. It seems like it's around like 10 grand.
Okay. So yeah, enough to be seed money. So yeah, it sends off the celebratory lights and sounds and alarms and how wonderful it is, and it charges up your... I mean, this is a renovated place. I don't know what they actually do, but we're going to say it's like a digital funding thing where you've got like a card or something that, that's just been filled up.
I won.
Yep. Yep, and you look completely normal doing so. There's nothing suspicious about it.
Even though Henry is kind of sweating.
Right.
That's a lot more out of me than I expected.
Yeah, no, usually just kind of, works. There's some fucking shit going on here. More even than everywhere else. God damn it.
Okay,
Can't
well,
just go to a normal goddamn casino.
I think this might be a normal goddamn casino. I'm not sure there is one.
Yeah.
I mean,
Whatever.
I'll just, I assume I really, while we can normally carry weapons anywhere, we probably can't bring them to a casino. So
Yeah.
don't make too much trouble,
Yeah,
Oh,
fair.
too many people make a mess of themselves when they lost.
Right. Yeah, definitely no weapons allowed inside. Unless, of course, you
So-
had some power that lets you look normal doing it, but I don't think any of you do.
No.
We just
Well-
said you just wearing red to a wedding.
Right.
Worst case, I could get some big foam fingers and cast Wood Dragon's Claws, but still look pretty weird walking around with foam fingers.
Yeah. Is it poker time? Pokering?
Yeah, I guess, Dolores are basically, yeah, it's the big leagues for me now.
Right.
Yep.
Gets a celebratory drink and waddles over to some poker table to get dealt in.
Yep. You know what? I think the Las Vegas book actually has a little poker system. Let me see if it's interesting and worth doing rather than just fucking rolling once.
Okay, so I guess we're pausing.
Let's see if it takes me more than a couple of control Fs. Nope, here we are. The rules, betting and playing. Nope, okay, it's actually just the fucking rules of poker. Alright, so let's do this as basically an extended contested subterfuge roll. So, manipulation and subterfuge, or wits plus subterfuge. So, yeah,
Okay.
roll that, and I'll roll for whoever would be in second or first place, because it's not worth rolling 10 times.
Okay,
So let's
I'll...
see. Good poker
Um,
players probably got that much. Difficulty 6, since it's contested.
Yeah. I'll spend an essence for the excellency, 5 successes.
Alright. The target is going to end up being like 20. So, alright, so the first round, more accurately, the target's going to be 20 for you to have the amount of money you'll need. You can cash out early if you want, but obviously you win the first game. and you've already multiplied a fair bit. You put a lot of your money into it without any problem. They fell for it. Everyone fell for it. So yeah, go ahead and make another roll. All right, Mr. Second Place. Ooh, closer that time, but you definitely still pulled ahead. Keep going, if assuming you want to. You're getting there.
Good thing. I'll keep spending my essence.
A couple people curse and go away from the table because they're tapped out at this point. Alright, so that's 17, okay. Alright, and that would have had a willpower that time, but still not enough. So, there's one guy left, and he's got just barely enough left to keep up with you for this last hand, so
Yeah.
roll one more
So
time.
like over the time, the laws are changing from old granny playing the slots to some stuff, card shark.
Right.
Defeated more and more.
Yep.
Yeah.
Look at those
Yeah,
dice
just
go.
going, sorry, honey, as she's like taking all their chips.
Oh man, yeah, you basically picked up a straight flush for that last hand, and you just expertly played it off like you had nothing. He put everything he had left in, and then did that typical clearly I won. Here's 4 aces, and then you show the straight flush, and he silently curses, and the life drains from his eyes, and suddenly his whole world means nothing because he put everything he had into that. Because he had 4 aces, how could he possibly lose with that?
And he
And
mortgaged
yet-
his house.
Right.
Oh no.
What feelings, honey?
Yeah. So yeah, you are full of cash now on your account. The only thing left, this still isn't quite billions, well, not billions, like multi-million, multi-hundred million break the bank, but if you played, say, roulette once, that would probably be enough to push you over.
Mm,
Guys,
could
so
we?
So can
Should
you
we
do
cash out?
roulette?
Oh yeah,
Henry?
it's got a cool little digitally system
Oh. Oh.
that they just put in.
Oh, that's real tempting.
I think
What do you
roulette.
guys
sure
say?
this.
Let me check the odds. I think you get 35 to 1 maybe.
Yeah, something like that. 00, guys.
Yes,
Just do double zero over and over.
the biggest multiplier on roulette is 35 to 1. So if you take your whatever amount of money is $100,000 and stick it all on a roulette number, you can win quite a bit of money.
I mean, you're probably at $1 million by this point, so
You've been purely
Yeah.
playing all night. You wiped out all the poker players.
Oh.
But see, if
Okay.
you win so much, the casino might go you won too much. Get out of here.
I mean, I'm
Well,
sure this
no,
takes 5 or 6 hours, right? This
yeah. I'm imagining you're all taking a while. At this point, you're definitely getting a lot of the attention of do you want, here's a free drink, and stuff like that. The things that they want you to keep playing because they want you to lose.
Yeah.
They're making you as comfortable as possible.
The new queen of the casino.
Meanwhile, I'm just hanging out next to Henry,
Yeah,
not gambling, and this is why I don't gamble.
and on that note, if anyone wants to make a perception plus awareness roll at difficulty 9, because this is a crowded casino.
Oh, I'll gladly do that. Difficulty 6.
Yeah.
9 successes.
Okay. Well, Henry failed. And
Why are we
Mason
hoping
failed.
that we bought?
I regular failed.
What
No
success?
bots, though.
So just fails.
Dolores, you notice one of the casino guard types off in the corner watching you, and he's watching you. There is some magic to that watching of some type. Or some other type of supernatural power. It's kind of hard to tell the exact specifics from this far away, even with that many successes. and with that subtle and instantaneous a power. So,
Oh boy.
all right. So yeah, Henry, are you doing the roulette then?
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah, we're
But
doing that.
what's the difficulty?
Um, Same difficulty.
Okie dokie.
Okay. Yeah, you're definitely able to take it over from whatever else is trying to make it work right.
Come on, double zeros.
Okay, so yeah, it spins and it goes just a teensy bit longer than everyone thought it would, but you know, sometimes the machine does that just to vary it up and not make it obvious where it's about to land. So clearly nothing's
Yeah.
wrong. Um, and yeah, you pay out big. They're like, what the fuck at this point? You know, at least the handful of the staff that have been watching you since you won the poker tournament. So yeah.
Well, I guess that's all she wrote. I look at the limit for the roulette, probably around this amount. Like, okay,
Well, if you got when you win $35 million, they're like, you know what? You're done.
yeah, I think I'm going to retire.
Yeah. So, what do you do at this
So,
point? At this point, nothing's happening other than, you know, the expected crowd and, you know, people celebrating like, wow, she won that much, blah, blah, blah.
so I guess Dolores, slowly but smugly walks over the counter thinking, oh shit, this is going to be linked to my actual bank account. We didn't think this through.
No, I mean, they give you a choice, like either to pay it out and, you know, either to keep it on your account if you want to play more in the future, if you want to get it put in a bank account, or if you do want actual cash, they can make that happen. But you'll have to wait a little bit because, you know, they got to put that together from their vault. They don't keep it out and ready anymore.
I assume they'll wire it to you. They don't have stacks of cash. Not for
Yeah.
$35 million.
We
I,
wire it to Mitchell straight away. So, oh yeah, this is his
It's not.
dealings.
I would just keep it.
Yeah. He wants hundreds of millions. Like as far as I'm aware.
Yes.
I mean, you could
Okay,
definitely
so-
send it to him as like a good faith payment to show like, hey, we clearly can do this in a short time, but
I
or you can
think
keep it as seed money for like playing the stock market or whatever else you want to do.
Yeah, probably that'll be the best.
Okay, so yeah, if you
So-
give them an account to wire it to, they can do that without any problem.
Oh, sorry,
This will
Peter.
have consequences later.
Oh, who said anything about later? You know, as soon as you turn around from that counter, a couple of those guards are there.
Hi.
Like, ma'am, would you and your friends care to speak to the boss? And he says that in the this isn't a request kind of question way.
Well, those looks over because I don't think she was like getting close to proximity to the other guys. Like, oh, sure, I'll talk to the boss.
They do notably, even if the others drift away a bit, they do also motion to you too.
Sure.
Right.
Yeah.
Because none of you have anything that like completely hides your nature in some way, right?
Nope.
Nope.
Yeah. I mean, Dolores looks innocent as possible, but fitting in as a multi-million-dollar winner is still noticeable.
I also
Tens of millions at this point.
I
Yeah.
haven't been playing it up that much, but every time I'm doing magic, there's at least a slight flicker of something going on because I have the beacon of whatever. So
Beacon of power, yeah.
yeah.
Oh, yeah.
You're
Okay, then yeah, they
very subtle.
definitely look at Henry.
Right.
Yeah, we should have brought that up earlier.
Oops.
This whole
Listen, there's lots of stuff going on, lots of lights. It's not like, who cares if one guy does a double take? Not a big deal.
Masquerades are for losers.
Right.
Okay, let's go see the boss.
Yeah. And by now the sun's of course gone down during the couple of hours you've been playing in the casino. Because that,
Oh
of
no.
course, in case that matters.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. I don't know why it would,
Right. But,
It was probably like 10 o'clock at least.
yeah. So, yeah, they bring you upstairs, up past the different... Well, they when I say upstairs, I mean they take you through a very long elevator to the top of that pretty big building. And bring you to the office, and there is, your pretty typical pinstripe suit dressed man of some amount of Italian heritage, but more pale, sitting behind a desk.
What does his name tag say, if there's any?
There is a, like, not a name tag, there's a, little desk name
Face?
thing that he is Mr. Rothstein, casino owner. Actually, no, that wouldn't be on his desk. That would have been as you went into his office, because he has a giant office. So yes, Mr. Rothstein. A very, it sounds familiar for some reason.
Yeah. Did I hear that before?
Oh, Mr. Rothstein, so nice to see you.
He kind of smiles and leans forward a bit and motions for someone to close the door nearby and says, right, he checks like a tablet on his desk and like, Mrs. Starr, is it? Or Ms. Starr?
Yeah, that's me.
Yes, it seems there is some concern from some of my staff that there might have been some cheating going on here in my casino, as much as I hate to ever accuse someone of doing such a thing.
Well, if you're not going to accuse me, then why bring it up?
Well, that's the thing. I'm not going to accuse you per se so much as one of your friends there of helping you out, and he motions to Henry.
Uh-huh. How exactly?
Well, see, that's what I want to know. See, this is a respectable kind of business, and, we usually, we try to fit in with the rules of the area, but, we've prided ourselves on carving out our little bit of territory here the Horseshoe. And that's in character a mistake, like he took a moment to correct himself. And, usually most people within the city that claim, let's say, similar types of territories, similar types of attunement to their homes, they know better than to go into someone's livelihood and try to cheat them out of it.
My man, like this is all based on the assumption that something happened. Gotta give me more than that. Really happy for my friend. I'd wish we could like go home.
He kind of sighs and says, like, well, a couple of my associates, I don't want to point anyone out. It'd be rude to put them front and center when this is between you and me, as gentlemen. They told me they kind of noticed a weird little, let's say, trick of the light around you that seemed to be having an effect on our machinery and on those that, let's say, upkeep the machinery.
Mm-hmm. Uh-huh.
How do
you think that...
Go on.
I was just gonna say, do you think that's gonna hold
Hold what? You cut
up
off
in
there.
like court or something? Do you think that's gonna hold up in court?
he kind of laughs and shakes his head like, "Oh, Pally, this isn't about court. This isn't about calling the cops. No one wants to deal with the cops. You know, they're all in bed with the..." He just kind of waves his hand there, like, clearly you must know. Like, no, like I said, this is between you and me as gentlemen. I'm just, I'm asking you to tell me what you did, and your willpower is 10, right?
Yep.
Gonna bounce right off again.
Ding.
Oh, he might not. Might not
Well,
have it.
what are your current willpower points? Because this is 20.
Oh, I didn't know that's what it's based on. 8.
Okay, well, it's not based on that for the demon power, but for dominate, it is. Which means he has chance.
He's got a chance.
Okay. So I
But-
don't think any of your intimacies really apply to don't talk about how I cheated poker, or not poker, slots. Let's see.
Yeah.
Do that.
Hatred of Pentex,
Yeah.
don't just... Yeah.
Yeah, that's fine.
Okay, so you immediately want to tell him exactly what you did.
Okay, so to be honest, I may have, made some adjustments in some of the machines, but not again through anything that can really be traced. It's powers, shall we say? So yeah, that's how my good friend over there made a bunch of money from your
Throws
casino.
glass daggers at him. What the fuck?
Wow, you really
Well,
should.
notice that it's some mind power here.
Yeah, I mean, if you all want to roll awareness, you can, but it's pretty clear
Yep.
that Henry wasn't going to just do that without being forced.
I assume that's not a 9. That's probably a 6.
Hmm?
Awareness is 6.
Yeah, the awareness is 6.
I'm not even gonna bother.
Okay, yeah.
Are there any screens around here?
Well, there's the tablet I mentioned he was using.
I'm just going to settle Henry, would you like to show him, how you done it? Like, looking over the tablet?
Oh
Looking at his
yeah, of
own-
course! What a great idea! I'm gonna mind spider the shit out of him.
Yeah.
So, what's his willpower?
Alright, his willpower is going to be an 8.
Oh, but he's a vampire, isn't he?
Yes.
So he's a little worm guy, a little worm friend.
Yes. Yes,
Uh,
he is.
So I'm going to roll a fuck ton of dice at him.
Okay, success.
13
Okay.
successes.
Alright. What?
What are you going to tell him to do?
Yeah.
Oh no!
You have to decide that before you use the power.
Yeah.
I know, I do. Well, actually, I need to decide it after the dice.
Yeah,
roll,
because the
it tells
dice
me
decide how
Yeah.
much of a thing you can
exactly.
Let's put
We
all
want-
this behind us.
Yeah, look, I'm just gonna make him just completely ignore this incident and suck it up. Deal with it, loser. Is the mental command I give him.
do. Alright. Let me do a thing. That is a fail. Okay. So, he looks at it and blinks a few times. Like, well, since you came clean to me and all, I suppose we can just put this all behind us. Just, don't let it happen again, okay?
Yeah, no problem.
Yeah,
And,
Right.
the couple of guards in the room and another guy he has in the back all look at him, like, confused as fuck.
And then
But,
they've already got their shotguns out. They're like, what?
yeah, like... But they shrug, like, okay, whatever. None of them sense that anything's off about what just happened.
Oh,
This is
Ah,
why you
they're
keep
all
your ghoul's
space.
awareness.
Actually, but he might and just can't act on it right now. Let's see if he knows for later. He does know for later
success.
that
That's
something happened. He
fine.
can't do anything about it now, but yeah.
Good thing I don't live in my old address anymore.
Great. Pleasure doing business, I guess.
Yep. Nothing will
Good
possibly
to meet
go.
ya.
Yep. And he nods and lets you all go.
As we leave the building, Henry's gonna be like, "Man, why did I tell him that? We
He
could
used
have kept
magic
the
on you?
game up." Wait, what?
Use magic on you.
He, roll onto you.
No. Yeah, he actually did?
Yeah.
Oh, why can't I fucking notice this shit? Ugh.
Well, you were staring directly in his eyes, his hypnotic eyes, so probably that, helped,
Oh
made that
no.
harder.
Yeah, you're probably right. He's probably got the vampire hypnosis shit. Oh fuck.
Speaking of which,
Yep.
did we want to actually talk with him? I guess we can come back to the other date.
He just took the man for $35 million. I don't think a
Yeah,
conversation
probably not in
is
the best mood for. Yeah.
I mean, he forgave us. Everything is good.
No.
No, I told him to suck it up, not to
Yeah,
forgive us.
that's not
Also,
no.
like,
That's not
even
an
if he-
emotional power.
even if he didn't pass the awareness, Henry totally made like the green sparks out of his forehead when he was doing that.
True. Yeah.
Uh,
So
yeah, we hide your sparkles, buddy.
I don't know how you guys do your stuff and not have it happen. It just
I mean,
I
maybe it's a
guess
side effect of turning into a giant robot that flies.
Well, maybe that's how your Wi-Fi works.
maybe.
Uh, so do you want to wrap it here, or do you want to go to the Pentex facility?
You should probably not. I mean, okay, if you want to do a casino, do it now because he's probably calling all the casinos to not let you in. They all talk to each other.
No,
Yep, this is the last casino run.
Yep.
well, I don't think we need more casinos at the moment.
Yeah, we're going to the stock market. Don't worry about it.
I forgot to turn on the casino sounds instead of the office sounds. Too late now. Oh well.
Yep.
All right. So yeah, next time you're going to heist or casino some more.
Well, I guess we're starting the
Uh,
heist at least. The going to the Pentex stuff, yeah.
Right. That's what I meant by heists.
Yeah.
I think that's a good idea. Because I will either in the downtime after build a finance robot or just fuck with the stock market myself with like an AI program or something.
Or
I
some,
don't
or we'll figure out something
Right.
more interesting to
We'll
do. With
figure
30
something out.
With $35 million as seed money, we can now do something.
Yeah.
Right. Okay. On that note, thank you everyone for listening. This has been Chris Falco with Falconian Productions, and you've been listening to Exalted vs. World of Darkness Pentex.